if I become a programs manager, clearly I'll fire everyone on the radio station.
Yeah.
If you don't give it, we will start off by taking away two things, depending on what time of the day you
It
are on
is,
the radio.
yes.
And he said to me, "Oh, relax, you mean now?"
It's good advice.
It's a thought
yeah.
of
The audience.
I keep talking about the best producers that I know
Mm.
in radio in this country. There are only two. I keep saying this to myself. I'm the best. Then after me, there'll be no other.
Hey, listen to that line.
That's my line.
King David Studio Podcast.
I haven't had a radio legend in a while, and it's such a pleasure today. And sometimes we use the word legend loosely, some say, but there are people who have made an impact in the game. And today I have one, Dr. Vusi Letsoalo, because that's what he used to call himself back then, the musical Dr. Vusi Letsoalo. Dibra?
Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a million years.
In a long time.
And
Before COVID.
The funniest thing about it is that the last time we've met, so to speak,
Yes.
was virtual.
It was. Before COVID.
This was even, when you say it was virtual, it was a virtual meeting.
Yes.
And people are thinking, this guy, the last time they saw each other
No.
was during the COVID era. No, this was way before the COVID era.
We had a virtual meeting.
We had a virtual meeting, yeah.
And you were, at the time, we did that because of your school that you're running in Durban.
Yes.
And you had asked me to be a guest appearance of sorts.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? In
Yeah.
one of your lectures. I don't even know what the subject matter was, but it was radio
remember-
as a whole, I guess.
I remember very well. I mean, there's a lot of things that I know about you that I've realized that, you've got to share this with this class because I think it was important that you should share your experience with them.
That's true.
So it's not just anybody who comes to that school, by the way. It's not just anybody. You've got to have something to offer. It's
Wow.
not because you're on radio. So you're going to
Well,
be a
thank you
guest.
for that. Thank you for that.
So there was something.
Yes.
There was also something that I could learn from you.
Mm,
You see, that's the nicest thing about it, is that you might think that you know it all. You definitely don't.
That's true.
You learn from other people as well. Like, as much as the students at the school were learning something from you, and I also learned something from you as well at the same time. So I was also a student.
In that moment, I must tell you, since doing this, I have had to learn so many things about such interactions.
Yeah.
I realized that as much as we do radio, this is different.
Yeah.
These what seem like casual, easy conversations. They are not that easy to do if you don't have a certain level of skill. But we'll touch on everything. And I want to, with you, I want to go to a time in your life when you most enjoyed radio. When was that?
Gosh, I enjoyed it all the time. I enjoyed it all the time. There isn't like a specific time. Or I enjoyed it when, I mean, one could say that radio is the same thing from morning to sunset every day. It's not. Radio is different each and every day. So although it's like looking at this, I mean, come to think of it, I've been on radio for
40 years.
For a very long time.
Actually, when?
And it seems like it was just yesterday.
When did it start?
I started in 1992. That's when I started radio.
Whoa, that's a long time.
And I remember David. David actually even came to my house because he had
You
so
remember?
much. Yes, I do remember.
We talk about that story on another episode. We talk about that story. Yes.
No, the thing is that, and I realized that here's this man who's also, wants to be on radio, and he, I should say, was also bitten by the bug.
Yeah.
And you've never looked back ever since.
Do you know the story how I ended up there?
No, you tell me.
There's a friend of mine, Kokasi Lolo, who knew that I loved radio so much.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he found out about you, how he knew you. I don't even know because I didn't think he knew Vusi Letsoalo. But anyway, there we are. He tells me he has a surprise for me. It's like, okay, we're going to Jozi.
Yeah.
And you know, back in those days, the trip to Joburg was a trip,
Ah, yeah.
like a journey.
Yeah.
And he's telling me we're going to Joburg. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. Get into the car, drive through Stupu, off ramp. We get into Empire Road. Nothing is familiar. Not a single thing is familiar. It was probably 1998.
Okay.
90s. So, because I had just finished at varsity, and you know, Gokasi, I was driving a cab, then Gokasi, and all of that. There we are. We get there. You were doing a Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, early evening.
The Hot Mix Show.
There you go.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Because it was around that time. It was early evening. I remember the sun was setting as we were driving, and it got darker as we get into Joburg. And there we are. We park there. I see, oh, this is SABC. It was the first time actually.
Oh, yeah.
It was
seeing the building itself.
Yeah. And can you believe it? I've been there for 23 years now.
Yeah.
Then you came along. And then when you walked, it was 2 floors underground then.
Yeah.
So you came up the stairs and up the elevator, escalators, and there you are. It's like, geez, man, this is Vusi. Dude, I was excited. You were the first DJ I ever met.
Are you for real?
Besides Ice, whom I met in Durban.
Yes.
You were the first, like, geez, super high profile radio person I ever met, and whose hand I shook and say, this is real. It's going to happen.
Oh, my goodness.
And you took us to your house. I don't even know why.
Oh, that happened on that day.
On that day.
Wow.
I don't even know why. We followed you to your house.
It's amazing.
And then we were...
What a story.
I'm in Vusi Letsoalo's house. And I didn't even know where I was going. No, that day for me was one of those, this is possible.
Yeah.
I'm closer.
Yeah.
The dream that I keep imagining is possible.
I want to believe that, I don't know, without wanting to sound like I'm blowing my own horn.
Yeah.
And usually such things do not happen. You've never met this guy, but you seem to have this camaraderie with this guy.
Yeah.
For him to take you to his
house.
place.
I don't even know why.
You don't even know the guy.
No.
It's amazing.
Because you don't know the Lolo guy that brought me to you. You don't know that guy.
I didn't know any of you guys. Why am I bringing you to my place? Like, you know?
You had a special friendship with Udedi. He became Udedi.
Oh, yeah.
Later in his life. Chili M.
Yes, Chili M.
How did that meeting happen?
Oh, yeah. That was another young man that I saw. He had the love for it as well. And I realized that he actually does have the talent to do this. And I stuck with him. Like, I brought him closer to me so that we became friends, so to speak. And his mom at the time, she used to say that, you've got to help my boy to get a job, and he likes this thing that you do. I said, okay, so I'm gonna bring him in slowly but surely. But it's kind of like difficult to have him there. You know how it was. This is a workplace.
That's true.
You can't have people just hanging around
all the time.
All the time. It's okay for him to come through to the studio and see what happens behind the scenes, and and get the aura of being there.
Yeah.
Maybe it will help him to some extent to unearth this thing that's eating him inside.
I like how you say eating him inside. Just eating him.
So we became friends with Chili M.
Yeah.
And so that he knew me, and possibly maybe he, in a way, become the other me, so to speak.
That's true.
To put it that way.
Yeah.
So you understand my world. This is the world that you want in. Come on in and see what happens. So I'm kind of like introducing him in a way.
What did you see though in him at that time? Because he had never done radio.
He has never done radio.
Yeah. And what did you identify in him at the time?
So I then asked him if we can record a demo of him doing his thing, so that I can maybe listen to it, point him out in the right direction, and so on.
Yeah.
And so he did. Then obviously, the question that you asked, like, who do you like? Which radio presenters really excite you? Can you emulate them or do your thing? But so that I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
but do your own thing
Who
because
was
that's
that?
most important.
How did he answer that question at the time?
I don't remember,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what he said. Who his idols were.
Yeah.
But we recorded this demo.
Mm.
And when I listened to it, I couldn't pick up anything. I couldn't pick up Vusi or David
or Tish Matez at the time.
or anybody.
Yes.
So it was just him. And that told me that, damn, you've got something there.
Yeah.
You've got something there. So I think once or twice I wanted to record this so that I can see the progression. I can hear the progression as to how he's sounding as we move on.
Yes.
And he was just great. It was just amazing.
It was.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the sound of Chili Am.
And I told him when I left the radio station.
Yeah.
I said to him, when I leave the radio station, who's going to be the next person to? At the time I was doing the 12 to 3. Can I say the station?
Yeah, please.
At the time I was doing the 12 to 3 at Metro FM.
Yeah.
And then I said to him, when I leave Metro FM, you know who's going to be doing 12 to 3? You.
Sure.
He said, are you serious? Like, you.
Yes.
He then found a gig.
Yeah, I think it was the chicken company. Nando's.
Oh, you're going too far back.
Oh, really? There's something else.
I was going to skip that.
Well, it stands out in his story.
That's where it actually began.
Yeah.
On Nando's, I think it's called Nando's FM.
Yes.
And it did Nando's, the product there, peri peri, hot. Chili. And then he decided, because they said, no, you can't be Vukani Masinga. He said, no, you're not going to use that. Yeah. You're going to use a name that's, that rhymes,
yeah.
that goes
with the product.
With the products.
Yeah.
And then he started thinking peri peri Masinga, peri. I know. Chili M. It sounded nice.
And it stuck, man.
And then he went with the chili. That's where it actually comes from.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And he started there. I said, well, use that as a practice platform.
Yeah.
That's where he started. I think it's called, I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, it is Nando's something. Yes,
yeah.
It is
so
Nando's
he started
something.
there. And thereafter, he then got a call to be at YFM.
Yeah.
And now at YFM, because now he's gotten a training at, let's call it Nando's FM.
Yes.
Because now he had this training from Nando's FM. By the time he got to YFM, he was already smoking.
Yeah, and you guys are still boys at the time.
And during this time, we are still together.
Yeah.
So he's getting a lot of inspiration. I also maybe want to believe that I'm going to be better than he is now. For me, it was okay. I actually love the fact that now you are doing it. Now you are on your own. Now you can, spread your wings and fly.
Yeah.
And so he then grew at YFM.
Yeah. I became a star at YFM.
Oh, man. And some of the things that he did there, that was just amazing.
Yeah.
The other, sometime back, I watched a clip of what he did. Oh, the things that you used to do at YFM, it was like, he was very vocal. He didn't do the usual radio, so to speak. He was very vocal about stuff. Like, hey, I don't like this one. Like, he was just.
He had an opinion. Yes.
He was that kind of a guy. Like, and which actually was an exciting part of radio. Just like, the late Kabzela.
Yes.
He was different.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes radio exciting. It's got to be different. You've got to come up with something different. Like, the same old rantan.
The same old link.
I almost spoke about the Sunday Black Radio.
Okay.
It's like you listen to...
What is Sunday Black Radio?
Man, I don't want... I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there because
is it defined by the
upset
music?
A lot of people on the radio on Sundays.
Is it defined by the music or by the style of presentation, or is it both?
For me, it's mostly the music
Yeah.
because I want to believe that all the presenters become part of the music.
Of course.
So my thing is, if you listen to one,
Mm.
you listen to the rest because they are all the same.
Mhm.
It's either the music is the same,
Same, absolutely.
and
I
so
even have a playlist called
the
Sunday
presenters
Radio. Yes.
they complement the music. They've
Mm.
got to be the music. So whether it's 12 to 3 or 3 to 6 or 9 to 12, it choose which one you
But what
or
bothers you
whether
about it, though?
it's that station or that station, it's the same thing. The only difference is it's FM1
And
or
FM2.
FM2. You
Like what
choose.
you call them. But you seem to be not pleased with that format. Which is why earlier you said you don't want to offend anybody.
Because it's the same thing.
Mm.
It I have to be honest with you. Like when I went to Durban at some point in time before I worked or even opened a school there,
Mm.
it was on a Sunday. I would never forget. It was on a Sunday, and I know, oh my goodness, it's a Sunday. I can listen to. I keep saying black
Black
radio,
radio, yes.
and then I found the same thing.
Mm.
Whether you in GP or in Bob, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Until I listened to one radio station, black radio station, it was different. Like it was so much energy there. That guy was doing a top 40
On a
on a
Sunday.
Sunday.
What kind of music?
It was like
Pop. Pop, yes.
very
High tempo
music.
Yes.
Like, oh my goodness. Oh, thank God, this is it. Like, who said we must all hang ourselves and die?
And fall in love. It's all about love on Sunday. It's all about
I was telling the mother of my child, this is how I describe black radio on Sundays.
Yeah. Oh, you want to hear this? Is this the offensive part?
This is this was just yesterday. I said, oh, one thing that I don't like about black radio is that you're gonna get a will.
Mm.
It's like we are all willing to go down with him. And then there's another guy called Brian who's going to be crying us into the night. And then there's Anita. In the middle of the day when the sun is so hot and she bakes you in it.
You make it sound so horrific.
And you bake in it. And she bakes us. Anita bakes us in. And Galuskat, kuyashisa. That's you think about it. That's when you are listening to black radio on a Sunday at 2 p.m. in the
heat of the day. I must admit though, you seem to be one of the few that is against it. And I use the word against deliberately because you're ridiculing it very obviously. Very obviously. A lot of people love it. A lot of people love the sound of black radio, so much so that a station like Metro would have different listenership figures and profile from Monday to Saturday than the ones that they have on a Sunday. A complete different profile of audience and numbers.
Yeah.
Almost like two different stations that are talking to two different people.
True.
Yes, because the Sunday audience is a world all on its own. That other companies, other brands like Prime Media have tried to bring this thing into their format.
I've listened to it. I'm like, okay,
exactly the
now
same.
There's another one now.
Exactly the same.
It's exactly the same
because the audience is there.
There are people that like this.
The audience is there. There are lots. They would fill up buses. If Anita Baker, who bakes during the day, would fill up a huge venue that takes 10,000 people without even trying.
Now, here's a twist to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Which means now the audience that love this, they want a repeat of the same thing. If that's what you heard last week Sunday, without a doubt, the very same songs and the very same presenter, why don't you just play back last week's tape? I don't understand it.
This is the offensive part. People won't take this well. South Africans, and you would know this probably better than me, because at that time, South Africans, we had a huge dose of soul and R&B in the 80s,
Yeah.
70s, 80s, and 90s for that matter.
Yeah.
That is a part of our DNA. We can't shake it off. I don't know how we managed to get it because there were sanctions, but we seem to have gotten a lot of it. And you're asking an entire generation of people who enjoyed Luther Vandross and Anita Baker. You're saying to them, come on, shake it off. Forget it. They're not going to do that.
I mean, there are other kinds of music that you can listen to on a Sunday.
Okay. For example, you can listen to anything, but what would resonate? That's the question.
I want to believe that maybe with the knowledge and the age that I'm in, that I'm okay with other sounds.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. Cafe Delma, anything that says Cafe Delma. Even Cafe Delma, they now have their own radio station. And Cafe Delma will give you different kind of sounds under the label Cafe Delma.
Yeah.
What they would call garage music, or deep house.
Got you.
Or can't remember the other genre. But there's beats to it, let's put it that way. You don't have to be stuck with the R&B.
It's my taste.
Day in and day out.
It's my taste, Vusi. Let me live my life.
Oh, loving you.
Yes.
I see. I stand accused.
There you go. There's my wall. Behind you there, you have Barbara Streisand. Who else do you have? Who else? You Blondie Machene with an old album. The Commodores. You have the Commodores United behind you there.
Very interesting. I actually had the Commodores. I didn't even know. I forgot about some of the songs in the pocket that were being. But why are we all listening to this all the time?
I told you. We were drugged by soul and R&B in the 80s. I remember the first artists I fell in love with were the Spinners. First artist, throwing a good love away. That is the first music I fell in love with. It was played all around me when I was a kid. And I couldn't shake it off.
And this music goes on way into the night. And I've realized now what radio has done is that they even moved the jazz now to the late night.
Yeah.
Because the audience,
they want more.
The jazz audience, it seems to be fading away.
Because jazz used to be 6 to 9, early evening.
Yes.
Move slightly to the side. It'll come after 9. Because it was I DJ at these gigs.
Yeah.
I heard you. You play the same music over and over again. They enjoy it. And you know the kind of music that audience want, and you give it to them. I'll tell you, and I say this openly, it has to be the easiest audience to entertain. Because the expectation is
what
clear.
The people like.
Absolutely.
And you know what the people want to hear.
That's it. That's why I say, because I don't know who you're criticizing, the audience or the people who are playing the music.
It's actually very interesting. I kind of think of it if you said we've been drugged. So it's very easy for you to go and play at David's pub every Sunday because they are under a drug.
They are under a spell, and it's a beautiful spell because they have fun, and that's all that matters to me.
I'm the difficult person to entertain.
No, it seems like it.
I know.
Seems you move with the time, or some time in your life. You move it.
Please don't fit me the same thing all the time.
Yeah, not soul and R&B. But I want to go. I want to go to the beginning of your career. How did you end up on radio?
I was working at Paraquanas Hospital. When I finished school.
We'll go there. Yeah, but I want to solve this small problem of radio.
I worked at Paraquanas Hospital.
Yes.
And at the hospital, you should know this guy. At that time, he was Dr. Metro at the Metro FM. His name is
was he
Dr. Ramatisele.
Oh, of course. He was also doctor for the
Yeah.
soccer team and
Yes,
stuff.
yes,
Yes.
yeah, those are,
Yeah.
yeah. So Dr. Ramatisele used to go and do his thing at Metro FM. I work with him at the
the
hospital.
hospital, yes.
So I would see him now and again. He would come in because I was a telephonist at the hospital.
Okay.
So communication was, I was right in the heart of it.
Mhm.
And obviously, being in the hospital, being a telephonist, you've got to know these guys.
Exactly.
So
because when people call, you transfer.
yeah, so
Yeah.
looking for doctor, you must know where Doctor so and so is, or what
Yeah.
department is Doctor so
Of
and so
course.
in.
Yes.
So I knew Victor Ramatisen
Yeah.
then, and then when he came into the exchange, telephone exchange, I would tell him like, "Hey man, I was listening to you speak about diabetes on the show today.
Yes.
I actually want to be
To be
there
there.
too."
Wow.
And then he said, "Are you want to do this?" Yeah. No, man, I've heard you when you speak on the phones. You speak like
A
you're
radio
the
guy.
radio guy. Like, yeah, well, that's what I want to do. So I'll see what I can do. I'll speak to Koskatebe was still
The big boss.
the big boss. He was the only big man who was running the show.
Yeah.
And then he then spoke to him. Guess what? I got a call to come in and record a demo at Metro FM. And I said to myself, hey, no looking back. But it took me 3 years.
Whoa. From that first call.
From that recording, I almost gave up. Then I left the province because I had my mother, telling me like, no, you've got to speak to Babu so to get you a job. No, Mom, I want to speak on the radio.
Did you leave the hospital job?
I left. Jeez. I remember I one other thing that actually moved me out of here in GP was my mother. Because she would just make so much noise about me not wanting to do the right thing.
As in, get a normal
get
job.
Somebody else and get a normal job or get a job. You really want to do this? Like, you know what? I'm going to leave home now. That's how serious I am. I don't want to hear anything about working. Because one other thing that actually inspired me when I was working at a hospital was the fact that I looked at the guy who was in charge of the department at the time. And this guy, he was kind of like the boss. And I looked at him and said, okay, if I stay here and then I worked here, after 10 years, I would be where
this guy
is.
Yeah. And how far was he?
Is this what I want? No.
Yeah.
There is no way I'm going to end up like this.
No.
I'm out of here.
It wasn't inspiring.
No, it wasn't inspired at all. I left. I said, no, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm leaving everything.
Jeez, man.
Let me pursue this thing called radio because this is what I want to do.
And leaving Joburg, where did you go?
That's another interesting story.
Yeah.
I ended up at the Sibias.
Okay. Are they relatives?
I'm sure you do know Linda Sibia.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that Linda Sibia.
That Linda Sibia.
How did you end up with Linda Sibia, man? Because now you're not working.
Now I'm not working.
You are kind of, in inverted commas, waiting for a response.
Exactly.
Oh, hell. Okay.
So I end up in the CBS. Now, how do I end up there?
That's
with the CBS?
Mm.
At the hospital, there was another brother. I want to believe that he's from the Sibia family or is part of the family. He's Barrington Sibia.
Yeah.
And then he says to me, then I tell him about my dream of being on the radio. And he says, yo, my younger brother also wants to be on the radio. Maybe you should go there and talk this whole thing together. Maybe
no relation.
No, we didn't know each other. But I knew Barrington at the hospital. And then he said, no, go there. You'll find Linda's beer.
You guys will talk about this thing.
You'll talk about it.
This dream of yours.
Yeah, keep dreaming the two of you until whoever gets there gets there. And so that's what happened. So
because it wasn't much of a solution. It was like, because not like Linda was on the radio.
No, it wasn't on the radio as well. No. So both of us wanted to be on the radio.
Yeah.
I end up with the SBIs. And even though Linda was not staying with us at the time, but I was at the I think it was at his brother's. There's another brother, a bigger brother, Galinda, Utenis Sibia.
Yeah.
I mean, he sold recipes. He also passed away. So I stayed at his house, and he was an attorney, so he was in and out.
Yeah,
he was that kind of a guy. So I stayed at CBS.
You were welcomed by total strangers because you had a dream of being on the radio.
I don't know why they liked me. Maybe he was a nice guy. You also had to come in my place.
You also brought me to your house, I guess.
So I guess I had it in me.
Okay,
so when I stayed with the CBS, then I met Ulinda.
Yeah.
And then I said, we spoke about our dream of being on the radio someday. And I said, well, me too. I'm just waiting for a call. Like, yo, take me with me when you get there. Or find a way to find me and bring me in. I was like,
who's saying that?
Linda says, if your thing works, don't forget about me. Like, definitely not.
Because you seemed like you were closer.
Yes.
When
no, definitely not. I'm gonna bring you in. You're coming in.
I like this dream. It's like you knew it was coming.
Interesting enough.
Yeah.
This is after 3 years. I get a phone call from Nkos. And Nkos says, what happened to your tape? I don't know if you were there at the time.
No, not at all.
There was a guy called Utati.
Yeah, I see. Remember, I came after 2000. So I'm way after.
Yeah, Utati, he sold rest in peace as well. Oh, gosh, a lot of people have left the building.
Yeah.
So what Tati did, he took my recording, this demo that I recorded, and it didn't end up at Kos's office.
Oh, no.
It was just lying there. You probably thought, this guy, or whatever happened.
Papaya,
yeah, or
many of them.
Maybe even the teachers were on at the time. They hey, no, this one is too good. No,
it's too good. He'll take the job.
I know. So Kos asked, but I never. I said I did record. I left it with Dad, so I never got to hear it.
3 years.
This is 3 years. I guess he had these other things going, and he had the Top Dogs on the radio. Anyway,
at the time, do you remember who was on at the time?
Oh, the original team.
The first team. The first team. Yeah. Actually, no. If it's Lawrence Dube, then it's not the first team, really. Because Lawrence, he wasn't the first team. Okay. He was the... He was like Dube. He was the after the first team.
Lakin Dube, Treasure
Shabalala, Grant, Grant, all of those.
Yeah.
That's the first team.
That's it.
Bratim Modise, that's the first team.
And don't forget
Wilson.
I was about to say
can't forget the first team.
Don't forget to mention Wilson.
Of course.
Yeah. It's the first. No, I almost said the last.
No, he was still the first and the last. No, and he's away.
You can't say the last because he's still standing.
Of course, as in the last of the first team,
yes,
and he's still there.
Yeah.
It's a huge legacy, man, to be on radio for so long and still score the kind of numbers Wilson scores. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
It's unheard of.
It's amazing.
Yes. Tell me what happens then.
And then I came back, and I redid the whole thing again.
Jeez.
And then I remember now. At the time, we were doing the reel to reel.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to take the reel, go up to Ghost's office, and then put it in that machine.
Yeah.
The machine, in the reel to reel.
You have to follow it.
You have to go up and down, put it in there. And then And he's sitting there and he says, "Yeah, press play."
Oh, now he wants to listen to it
And then
in your
in my
presence.
presence.
Ooh.
And at that time, I'm like, oh, so nervous and shaking. And then I press the play.
Uh,
And then it's like, it
uh.
goes into place. And then I don't think he listened to the rest of the recording.
Okay.
He then says, okay, you can stop the recording. My gosh, moment of truth. So then I stopped the recording and he says to me, who is your favorite? I'm thinking, okay, should I tell this man or shouldn't I? Why is he asking me about?
Yeah.
So I told him, and I said,
Who was
no,
it?
I like Boogie Harry.
Okay.
So it was Boogie Harry, an evidence scam, who later became my friend.
Hey. So evidence was already on at the time.
Evidence Scam, we forgot to mention in the
Yes.
original team.
Yes.
Evidence Scam, the camp one.
Of course.
And Boogie Harry. So those were my favorites. And of course says, I can hear them. Like, oh my goodness.
I can hear them in your style.
I didn't do well.
Oh.
This is what it tells me. Like, I can hear them
Mm.
in what you are doing there. Like, what happened to me? Like, okay, this guy picked it up. Because they were my favorites. So, you know, when you are studying on radio, you don't know much about it. You want to sound like so and so.
Is it the reason why you asked Chile as well? The same
I
question.
want to believe that I had learned that.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Be yourself. There's one other thing that I've and I always told even the kids at the school that the most important thing is to be yourself. Because I remember there was one guy who wanted to sound like Uchata of Vusi FM.
Oh, so took
And
everything.
He was honest and he said, "I love this guy. But love him, but don't sound like him."
That's true.
Because Vusi FM can only have one
of that.
One charter, not another charter. They would not hire you. You've been doing yourself a disfavor.
And you're a watered down version. You're not the original.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
we phone call. That's what it is.
So
Jeez.
yeah, maybe I learned that too when I asked Auchli, I'm like, who are your favorites?
Yeah.
And then he says to me, go back, take the two favorites, put them in a pot, and stir a pot, and bring me you.
You'll get an original.
Oh my goodness. Then I went back home and like, okay, how am I gonna get rid of these two people that I love so much out of me and then bring me you, he says. And so I had to, because I didn't have much time to do this.
No.
But somehow something tells me that you do have it in you.
Yeah.
So I think I went back and I re-recorded another one.
Yeah.
And I came back again, went on. And then he says, yeah, I know. Now I hear you.
Totally.
You know? Then I was like, I did the punch underneath the table. I was like, yes. Oh, yes. Now the real moment of truth, he says. Have you got time? I said, have I got time? What kind of a question is that? Have I got time? I said, yes, Baba, I've got all the time. And he says, no, I'm thinking, Guti, you need to go down to the studio and then do a show with Treasure. Treasure Shabalala was doing the 12 to 3 at the time.
Okay.
In the middle of the day.
Oh, my God.
12 midday.
Yes.
When the sun is out there.
What has become my favorite time slot? You too. You've done that show in the end.
Yes, I listen to it all the time. We're not gonna get there.
Keep going.
And so, like, I'm on the radio. Me?
Wow.
He picks up the phone and he calls Treasure. Down, there's still 2 floors down.
Yeah, K2. Yeah.
He calls Treasure and he says, there's a young man who's coming down there. Please be nice to him and then let him say something, say hello and goodbye on your show. He's not going to be there for long. So you can open up the show and then let him say something. Yeah. And then before the first hour, 12 to 1. So somewhere in this clock, I have to say, hello, my name is so and so, and then bye-bye. just before 1.
Mm.
So I had maybe an opening link. I think there was a link in between
Yeah.
because he had to take a back seat.
Okay.
So he had
Let
to,
you be.
they gave me that 1
Wow.
hour.
That's unheard of.
I think there are 4 links
Yes.
in 1 hour.
Yes.
So he did the opening link,
Mm.
and then the 20 past link. That's where I
Gave it
come
to
in.
you. Yes.
Then I do the
You can
22
do
link.
20, you can do 10 2, and you can
10 to
close.
was goodbye.
Goodbye. Okay.
So I did that for about a week.
What?
And the reason why I was given that 1 hour,
Uh,
it wasn't really, I guess maybe it was to some extent an introduction. Why am I on air?
mm.
So I'm being introduced to the listener.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, I am being trained
True.
because this is being listened to by Ukos. Because now I have to go back after the goodbye.
Okay.
I have to go back to the office to
To get an
to
evaluation.
get an evaluation.
Yes.
So how did it go? I know it was okay. Tomorrow. So then I knew, okay,
This is good.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Yes.
It's gonna get better with
Yeah.
time. I'm doing well. That's the positive.
Wow.
So if it was not good,
They would have said, Antoine.
I know.
No.
Yeah, because when you're in there,
Yeah.
certain things start setting in. Usually, nervousness.
Mm.
Then they mess you up.
That's true.
You know? So, because I remember the first time,
Mm.
the very first time on the radio.
Yeah. Is it still that
that's
show?
another important. That's the important part of it all.
But is it that very
It was on the day
show?
go down.
Oh yeah.
It was on that day. That the very first time on the radio.
How was that experience?
Oh, you should ask Treasure. Because at the end of the day,
we won't get a chance.
at the end of the day,
Yes.
it's 2 people. It's me and
Mm.
him. Well, then the microphone
And the audience.
But in real life, it's myself and Treasure.
Yeah. And
He's
rather,
the one that sees
yes,
behind the scenes what's really going on.
Oh.
I will never forget.
How did it go?
He hands me the music,
Uh,
and I will tell him down. It's a song by a group called Mannequin.
okay.
And he used to play that song, and I take a liking to it.
Mm.
The song is called "I Wanna Ride."
Okay.
That's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
You should listen to it.
I'll check it out.
Mannequin, I
Mm.
Wanna Ride. So it's a first track on vinyl. I see you've
Yes,
got vinyl.
yes. So it was playing from on vinyl.
So trying to
pick up
put
the needle.
It was the first track, so it's gotta be right there in the
Blank space. Yes.
Now
Ooh.
it's got. You got the
Is the level up?
they've
Yeah.
got the pre thing. No,
Okay.
it wasn't on air.
Okay.
So, but you can hear it in the monitors there.
Mhm.
And then he said to me, "Oh, Kalawat, relax, Kalawat. Hear me now."
It's good advice.
It's a thought.
Yeah. The audience.
That's the thing. That's what
Yeah.
kills you.
The
And
audience.
the one thing that I keep telling the students, because I would ask them, well, I was in KZN, so I would ask them this: what is how many people are listening to Cause FM, for example?
Yeah.
And then they say, no, 6 million, 7 million.
Okay.
Then I ask, you tell me, how many people do you think that you are going to be talking to if you were on Ukos FM?
Mm-hmm.
And then he or she says, it should be 6 million. Okay, next. 7 million, 6 million. Nine. So that's what kills you.
Yeah, that imagination
Exactly.
of an audience, of a group of people.
When you think million of people are listening to me
at the same time,
that's gonna kill you.
Of course. It kills me every day. That's why I know there's only one guy listening to me. It's all I want.
Yes. Yes. I remember when I started also the first few months, and I thought, well, maybe it's a joke thing. I know there was Treasure, there was also Ushado there, and they said to me, bring in a picture of your girlfriend and put it on the desk and talk to her.
Yeah.
I thought, these guys are, because I'm small and they're making fun of me.
Yes.
Like, but do that. Speak to her. Speak to her. I'm not going to do that.
Not a bad advice at all.
Years later, then I realized it actually makes sense. You're only entertaining one person.
Yeah.
That's where your focus and your mind is. Not 6 million
people at the same time.
That's what
that you can't pull
you
off.
up.
You can't pull
no,
that off.
You can't.
So you had the jitters because
I think of the 6 million. I
him
guess.
now and not.
Trey said, no, him now. Put it there.
Wow. And it got easier. Did it get easier?
It got easier. Like, that was very relaxing because that was the truth. It was just me and him.
And downstairs, K2 level, is really the two of you.
Yeah.
Because unlike now, with us now in the foyer, where you see people walking past, in and out, and so forth, downstairs, it gets completely lonely.
It's a different story.
There's no one there. No one walks past the window.
Yeah. I must be honest, in your situation where you say that you always seeing people moving up and down, when you know how to speak and you know exactly who you're talking to, it becomes easy. The other people are just there, non-existent, so to speak, because your mind is focused on this person you have to entertain.
Yeah.
There's one person who's listening to you just on the other side of the microphone.
Did you ever bring the picture?
No, I didn't. And like I say, I thought they were making fun of me because I was new. And like I said, years later, I realized that it's actually true.
Yeah.
The reason is focus your mind on one person.
Yeah.
It becomes easier for you to do, a radio presentation.
Do you find that, because I know it's the same, it's different for me, that it's not the same person every time.
All the time.
When I do different links in my head, they appeal even in my head. Before I do it, I know this is for this guy. And then the next one is for this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What happens to you?
It's true. You have maybe one or two imagery people in your head.
Yeah.
It makes it easier because there's different radio station. I'm thinking now with I worked at Gaga's FM.
Yeah.
At Gaga's FM, what they did, which was actually quite cool, because they zoned in. They knew exactly who our audience is. Well, they talk about the core audience person. Yes. They even had a picture of this person. So
a full-size cutout type of thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you knew exactly who you were talking to.
Yeah.
Or offsprings of that person. With Gaga's FM, it was a 30, not even 36, 30, it was a 35-year-old woman with an 8-year-old girl child.
Wow. Imagine
so,
that.
Yeah,
it's zoomed.
Can you see the dynamics of it all?
Yeah. Because it controls your content.
I was
completely.
just about to say that it also speaks to your content.
Yeah.
If she has an 8-year-old, okay, what is it that I can talk about? I cannot talk about Pampers. She's 8. No.
What do they deal with as well? What are their issues between the two? Exactly.
Yeah. Also, maybe single parent would, it speaks to your content. So you are right when you say that, okay, let's say we are now talking to females who are 35, who have maybe an 8-year or 10-year-old. Yeah. So your focus would be about we are talking to
this
Sophie, who's a 35-year-old.
Who works at this shop or this company.
Just about to say, in the back of your mind that Sophie works at Spark. She's a packer. Now, when you do your presentation, you are thinking about the kind of problems that a 35-year-old female packer deals with every day. You can actually see her and you know she gets into a taxi.
Yeah.
Now there's your content right there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It informs a lot of
It,
the things that you do.
you see
It
how
informs your music.
you see how huge this thing is?
Yeah.
Just a 35-year-old woman who
You
works.
you just gave away the entire radio secret. But anyway, let's carry on. What happens that week? The course week. They go downstairs and do 4 links.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you how good you get. You're saying you got better and better.
Yeah.
And then what? Did you eventually say, Tuan, now you got a job? How did it play out that you finally got a contract with the SABC logo on it?
I wasn't working there. Let's deal with that. So I wasn't working there. I was a trainee, let's say.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
An unofficial trainee.
An unofficial.
Yes.
Yeah, because God could have turned around and said, I know, it's
Sharp.
not working out.
Mm.
No, thank you. What's the letter? They usually write in a letter. Thanks for the interest you've shown.
How many of those letters have you written or read?
Thank you for the interest you've shown.
Yeah. We wish you
well with your endeavors.
I hate the word
As if there's
endeavor.
something that you really
Don't tell me about endeavors. My endeavor. At least you didn't get that letter at that time.
No. Funny enough, I think maybe once in my life I have received that letter.
The endeavor letter.
And I don't like it. And I keep, when I listen to radio, when people speak about, they've received that letter like that.
Eish.
And I can relate to it because I've been there too.
Eish.
So I get, I don't know, even if I don't quite remember, but I want to believe that Ghost called me in to sign the contract.
Yeah.
But one thing that I remember, now that I'm about to be officially on the radio, then I asked was, I said, so which name should I use?
Oh.
And then when I told him my English names,
why did that question matter to you?
It's because to me, at school, and people knew me as Vusi, and also the people at school knew me as there's a name.
What name? Is this a biblical name?
It's a Latin name.
Tell us. Well, we might as well.
No, I will tell you.
Yeah.
It's a very funny name, though. Well, it's not funny. The English name is Callistus.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, and there's 2 names. It's Callistus, Cyril.
Yes.
But I didn't use Cyril until now.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a reason why.
Yeah, politics. You're thinking it'll get you a tender. You're wrong. The surname, not the name.
I heard you speak about tenders the other day on your show.
Yeah, I said SBT forms.
SBT forms. Anyway,
Were you listening and I asked that lady?
So I'm asking because which name should I use?
Yeah.
Because I want to be the coolest kid on the block. I mean, these names, Boogie Harry.
Yeah.
The Camp One. Yeah, well, so...
Even Treasure sounds cool.
Even Treasure sounds cool.
Yeah.
And everyone's got a cool name. Vusi. Hey.
You thought, nah.
No, I gotta have to come through with a name. And I was like, Kumudi or something.
Kumudi.
I don't know why you came to my mind.
Kumudi.
So, yeah.
Thinking about old school hip hop.
And then he says, yes, old school hip hop. Kumudi. And then he says, no, use your name and surname. Use Vusi Letsoalo.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'll use Vusi Letsoalo. And so I use Vusi Letsoalo.
Yeah.
This is when now I have the contract.
Yes.
You asking me now, where does this doctor think I'm in?
Yeah.
That's the most beautiful story ever.
How you became the musical doctor?
It's the most beautiful story ever.
Is it close
Not
to...
a lot of people that I've told this story to. So
we're about to have it.
It's kind of like an exclusive. I think, I don't know, a lot of people assume that, maybe I gave myself. Like I would ask you about King David.
Yeah. There's a story. And I didn't give myself.
You also have a story?
I didn't. It's a story I've told many times. So in your case?
She calls me. She calls me and she says, I like the music that you play. You kind of like heal me. You're like a doctor.
Who's she?
I don't know.
Some
A listener
a
calls.
listener. Yeah.
She says, "Well, I like the music you play. It's healing. It's like you're a doctor. Can I call you a musical doctor?" And I
Wow.
said, "Yeah, it's fine. If you want me to use that, I will use it. But are you giving me permission to?" She says, "Yeah, it's okay. Can I credit you?"
Yeah.
She says, "No."
Mm.
I didn't feel good about it. Like, and every time, like, hey, the musical doctor, this, and I didn't feel good about it. Like, oh God, I have to credit. So, how can I just take this name and make it my own?
Mm.
No, this is not
Jeez.
my own creation. She refused. Then I said, okay, if you don't want me to credit you, can I at least maybe see you or meet you?
Yes, at least that.
Yeah. At least I'll feel good about it.
Yeah.
She says, no,
Wow.
it's never gonna happen. You're not going to meet me.
Mm.
Let's just leave it as it is.
And that's how it ended.
You don't want me
You
to see you, Jay, meet you, Jay, shake your hands or
yes.
give you a hug or whatever.
Say thank you.
Say thank you. So no, we're not gonna meet. It's okay the way it is. Let's run with the musical doctor. I'll be happy.
Mm.
That's how it came
Jeez,
about.
man. So even now, you don't know the person that
Uh,
gave you the name, the
I don't
musical
know.
doctor.
I don't know.
And
But
you
I know.
you used it forever.
Forever. It was so perfect. It was beautiful. The musical doctor.
Vusi, the musical doctor
No, it
Letsoalo.
was nice. It was
And
nice.
I thought it came from a TV show that you did.
Oh, really now?
Yeah, because there's a show where you used to wear
Oh yeah, the
coats.
Panasonic.
The Panasonic,
It
yeah.
actually that TV show was born out of
Out of the name.
him being the musical doctor. So
Exactly.
it was an extension of that.
That name
Oh.
yakleteli mali
Yeah, I put a house in Velterfitten Park
because of that name.
because of that name.
The musical
Yeah,
doctor.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Now your first gig, what was it at Metro? What contract did Goose give you? It couldn't have been Monday to Friday.
No. When I was set free to do your own show, I still had to undergo training.
Of course.
Um,
Different time, eh?
different time.
Different
True.
time.
So this time around, guess who I'm working with?
Yeah.
I am now working with Evidence Camp.
Whoa.
He was doing the party time. I think it was 9 to midnight or some time.
Saturday, yes.
In the hours of the night,
Mm.
in the peak hours of the night.
Yeah.
So I'm working with Evidence, and we are sharing this time.
Mm.
You know, I'm there now.
You're one of the guys.
I'm one of the guys. I'm 9 to 12. The two of us.
Mm.
You do this thing. I do that. But I'm new, so he calls the shots more.
Of course.
It's his show anyway.
Course.
So
yes.
you're a trainee. So I'll bring in if I want to bring in on this link. On this link, I'll just go so on. So I am okay as long as I'm behind the microphone. That's all. That's all
Wow,
that matters.
man. I'm blown away by the dream that came true in so
Yeah.
many ways because here's someone that you looked up to on the radio.
It's
And now you're sharing a show with them and they're right here.
amazing.
How did that feel? How did that moment? Because I can't imagine it because it's never happened to me.
Working with the Camp One, it was nerve-wracking. I still had the shakes.
Yeah.
But Camp One was a naughty guy like you are. Like you were.
Oh, at the station.
Even though I don't want to talk about this, but what the heck? We went out with Camp One to some place she been like Kosoet.
Okay. Before.
This is going to be my first time, so to speak, on the radio, but I've been on the radio before.
Okay, you've done the treasure
but
moments.
Yes, I've done the treasure moments.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing the Camp One moments.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Camp One, it's a different vibe. We must start there. Have one or two. Hey, next thing on our way, I'm shaking like because I've never been on radio 5 minutes before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, no, shouldn't we be there? Like, at least an hour,
to prep.
by the book.
Yes.
And it's a Saturday night because it's not there. Don't
No,
worry,
I
we'll
don't
go there. 5 to 9, we're pulling in at the CBC. Now we are rushing from Jablani to Auckland Park. We come across a pothole, it's like, and then I think we had a package. By the time we got to Radio Park, then the car is like,
Oh no.
so clearly it's messed up. But
Yes.
we have to be
You
on
couldn't
air.
stop.
We'll deal with that later.
Wow.
So
He was naughty.
So we get on there, and well, this guy sounds, nothing happened.
On air, yeah.
On air, I'm like, he's all right.
Yeah.
No, here comes Vusi now. hey, no. It's no longer the same.
You still have the nerves.
I had one or two of these drinks. It was no longer the same. I was like, I even know listeners at the time, I don't think they picked up because I'm not like the main feature here.
Yeah.
But I can tell, it didn't sound right there. Do it again. No. And I was said to myself, never again.
Yeah.
And never again will I via there
before
the microphone.
That's
now.
True, eh?
So clearly I can do this nicely before. I can do this without
this.
I know.
Very important lesson.
I know from there. Because now it's gonna change my style, no?
Yeah.
This is not me. This is not what I signed up for. No.
Puza before you spot
I know.
Did you stay long with evidence on that show? That training?
Oh, that training, I think it lasted for about 2 weeks.
Okay, all right. So even there, you were just passing by.
Even there, but I was still under training.
Of course.
So yeah, I think it lasted for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yes.
I don't quite remember, but it wasn't a very long time.
It wasn't a show that you got.
It wasn't a show.
Yes.
It wasn't my show.
Of course, yeah.
Until there was what they call it, restructuring or rescheduling.
I don't know what they call it. It's reshuffling.
Yeah, reshuffling and restructuring. Those are 2 words, and I don't know if they're still using them today.
I don't know what they use.
Those are the 2 words.
I wouldn't know what they use.
The program managers use
when they change lineups.
No, when they are going to fire you.
Hey, not. You even used it so hard.
No, it's because because at the end of the day, that's what it is.
The argument, though, and I'll defend them for 1 second and allow me, is that you walked in here knowing very well you have a 12 months contract.
Yeah.
There's no, and with us now, I don't know if it was the same for you guys.
You keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah. In Jan, end of Jan, we get a letter.
Yeah.
That reminds us. Yes. You get a letter, you have to sign it. That says, I remember that I have 2 months left. That letter is important because if you don't acknowledge it, it means you are not aligned.
You are not with us.
Yeah, you have to be aligned.
Yeah.
It reminds you that end of April, you're out or you're in. It's actually a very unsettling letter. I'll tell you that because it reminds you of the possibility of not having a gig again. So that's why I say, allow me to defend them by saying, they don't fire you. They just don't renew your contract.
At least it's okay that there is that pre-letter that you get. Back then it was at the end of next month.
Sure.
Because now really it was unfair
to tell you a few days before it ends.
Where the hell? When will you start looking for the next gig?
Yeah, that's true.
You're not giving me enough time, but it's the law. They're doing it by the law.
By the law. No, with us,
they need to give the guy 30 days.
By that letter. No, with us, that letter is 60 days or so. It says, we have 12
and you have to sign receipt.
You have to send, I've received it, and send it back to say, yeah, I saw it, I'm aware. Yeah. End of April is my last day here.
Yeah.
Then reality hits, eh?
But then again, I want to believe that it also does work with your mind when you do the show like now.
It does. No, it
So
does.
next month maybe yes or maybe no.
You see, here's something that I would ask you as well.
But the funniest thing about it is that when you listen to radio, you can never tell.
I was about to ask you that very question.
Yeah.
That how is it that radio people are able to put this thing on?
Yeah.
And that takes away all the troubles.
Yeah.
What have you learned about that tiny little skill?
I want to believe that there is an element of you being the actor. There is the actor in you.
Yeah.
I guess you mentally fall into that character.
Yeah.
Of not being I keep looking at not being Michael Jackson, but you're playing
Michael Jackson, yeah.
And
you're aware of this
it's
moment.
going to end at some point in time.
Yeah.
There's you being Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So don't fall into the character.
Yeah.
You know that this character, the musical doctor, will end.
Whether it's in the 3 hours, after
April,
the 3 hours, or in April, or there's some.
And the funniest thing is that we should actually be getting into the character and the mindset of the character every time you switch off the microphone. It should be the end.
Yeah. Do you want to know something interesting? And when I used to scanner about you, I would say that. I would say, have you ever hung out with Vusi? The guy who you talk to off air and who you talk to on air are two different people, because you can tell the character switching on.
Yeah.
You would say, because I've been in the studio with you once or twice, and we're having a chat, slow spoken like you are now.
Yeah.
The tempo is low. You're having a chat. They say, "Oh my God, I'm falling again." And you switch on the mic, and you become the musical doctor. It's like there's the musical doctor.
Yeah.
The tempo is there. It's like, oh, are you aware that you do that?
I've seen. There's a psychology. I don't know. I guess maybe being at school, then I found out about this. It's a psychological thing that happens to you, the presenter.
Yeah.
You should actually look at it yourself as well. It's now I know about it, which is very interesting. That when, let's say, you are in the studio with a presenter, seconds before they switch on the microphone, there is something that happens to that person. That person is no longer that
the one before.
That is the one before. That person gets into a zone. And I think also, I don't know if you've noticed when you put on your headphones, there is that hissing sound. It's like you transpond to another world, so to speak.
Would you do, using that reference, is it easy to do a show without headphones? I know you need to listen to the music, but here, say you're doing a talk format, or even if there's music playing, you're not controlling it. Some guy's controlling it, running the desk for you. You know the sound is good, but you don't have headphones on. Would you be able to do it using the reference that you just did now that says once you put on the headphones, it's almost like putting on a coat, a cape as a Superman?
I've been in a situation like that at Vuma FM.
Yeah.
There was, still, maybe you haven't noticed, I have issues with my eyes.
Yes. I haven't noticed. How can you see?
No, I can't. My eyesight is like, so messed up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so at the time, I think it was in the heart of COVID. I can't remember. But when it started setting in.
So your eyes are starting getting.
So I couldn't see.
Oh no!
The thing on the
computer.
The computer.
Yeah.
Everything was like, okay, okay, I cannot see this. And then I told the program manager, hey, I'm gonna need someone to drive the desk. So I'm gonna sit there and then say my piece.
Exactly.
So then they found someone to do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't have to put on the headphones.
No.
All I had to do, or also monitor how I sound,
Mm.
because I think that's another most important thing. That the reason why you're putting on your headphones
Yeah.
is to monitor the output,
True.
and also to monitor your own sound.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the way? There's a difference when you talk about the microphone. There's a difference.
The distance and all of that.
All those things are
Yeah.
part and the makeup of what you are doing.
Mm.
If you want to be, I want to take it nice and easy now.
Yeah.
There's a difference when the sound comes out,
Mm.
how you play around with the microphone,
Yeah.
how you come close, and so you need the headphones to monitor that.
Yeah.
So because I guess maybe because of the experience that I have, so
Figured
I know exactly what
what
it
to do.
means. If I do this and I do this, I know what's gonna happen.
Mm.
So yeah, but there's a reason why presenters would put on the headphones to monitor the sound and everything that is coming out,
Yeah.
the output, and also your own.
Then it's tricky though to do it without them.
It is tricky though to do a show without your headphones.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are involved. It's not just putting
Your
on the
voice.
headphones just for the fun of, because presenters. No. There's a reason why they do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you're monitoring
Everything that's happening. Yeah.
So because you need to hear everything and every nuance that's
Mm.
coming out. So that's the reason why. It is to some extent, yes, it is difficult to do a show without headphones, which
true.
means you don't really care that much about what's going on.
The output, yeah.
No, which means I don't really care that much.
And now you get when do you get your first gig, and what gig is that? The real gig. Now you're alone. Did that happen?
We spoke about the reshuffling and the
yes.
rescheduling.
Oh boy.
So then we did the 2 weeks with
the camp
one.
Yeah.
And then because there's no, he didn't say well, there was that announcement Treasure would now move from the 12 to 3 to the 9 to 12. Remember he did that Shell Goes Trucking.
That big show.
Yes, that was Treasure's big show. Yeah. So it leaves the 12 to 3.
A little vacant.
Kind of vacant.
Whoa.
So the trainee, come here.
No way, dude. Your first gig was daytime?
I'm sorry to tell you now. I was good. I was good. I still am good.
No, I know that. That's why I'm saying, what, dude? You walked into Metro and your first gig was 12 to 3.
This is what I keep saying to people that really care to know.
Yeah.
That has never been anyone ever since the 1st of September 1986 up until today. Somebody new started in the middle of the day and stay longer than anybody else on that radio station. 12 to 3 in the middle of the day. And I started in the middle of the day. And that record has never been broken up until today.
That's crazy.
And I even take it further.
Yeah?
I've done a show on 5 different locations in this world, more than anybody else in this country.
Tell me those locations.
No, you didn't.
You might as well. You started it. I didn't.
It's funny enough that I always love this time.
Yeah.
And I've never done it in the country though, but it felt like it.
Yeah.
Because we did New York. This was our first gig when we landed.
Okay.
New York. Here it's 12 to 3. That side?
Oh, yeah. It was, 6 hours behind?
It's 6 to 9 a.m.
Yes.
It's like a breakfast show.
A breakfast in New York.
It felt like I am doing a breakfast show.
In New York.
In New York. But yeah, Gucci, it's on midday.
You're imagining it being a morning
show.
show.
For me, it was exciting that we would wake up. Oh, I was with Malusi.
Oh, yes. That, of course. Oh, may his soul rest in peace. That was it. That was towards your last days of Metro as well. Yes.
So
Jeez.
yeah, he used to wake me up. Hey, Vuka Tata
I see.
Masi.
I see.
Yeah, so we did we did in New
New
York.
York, yeah.
Then we moved to California, and I hated California because it was at night there.
Oh, so
Ah,
it was you're doing daytime here,
it
but
just
nighttime
it
there.
just didn't feel right, you know, because it's in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But I know it's 12 midday that side.
Hey man, a
So
job is a job.
yeah.
Yes.
And then we flew from LA to
Mm.
Miami.
Ah.
Then that's a beautiful story. Oh, then the Hurricane Katrina hit,
What? You were there?
and I was right there. I was right
What?
there.
I don't even remember that you were there
Yeah,
that time.
it was terrible. And some of the shows were canned because we couldn't get into
Of
the studio.
course.
The whole place was flooded. There was a
Yeah.
hurricane.
Jeez.
So,
You have a different experience of Hurricane Katrina. You remember, you know it.
oh yeah, there's a long story about the whole Hurricane Katrina. Come on, I'll tell you now,
Yeah.
quickly. We ended up in a room now in one of the hotel rooms,
Mhm.
one of the hotel rooms, and because I think there were about 10 or 12 of us,
Yeah.
so we ended up in one hotel room because yeah, we were all here.
Yeah,
So we
together.
decided to be together because
Yeah.
we only knew these people. So then we sent one guy to the liquor store to go and buy.
In the middle of a hurricane. Sure.
We had a TV set. There was nothing on TV except the hurricane
Of
story.
course.
Hey, it's
Yes.
going down. Hey, this is. So as we were watching TV, we could see the guys we were with, like, hey, there's so. Rubbing clothes, like, hey, guy.
The guy who you sent for alcohol, you see him on
You
TV.
see him on TV.
Did you get it to do a show at all there? No, you couldn't.
No, the shows were
Yeah,
canned.
completely. That you couldn't
No,
even try.
we couldn't go anywhere. It was bad. It was
Yeah,
bad. So we
yeah.
couldn't. Some of the shows were closed.
Jeez.
So then we did Mexico,
Okay.
and
Wow.
then Sao
Sao Paulo
Paulo,
in Brazil.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Or we
Jeez.
came back Sao Paulo or Rio. I can't remember, but we were in Brazil.
Well, I'll tell you, it was there a beach.
Oh, beautiful.
Then you were in Rio.
Yeah. It's
You're in
beautiful.
Rio.
Oh, the beaches
Yes.
are beautiful.
Wow. I'm still blown away at this kid that comes from nowhere
Yeah.
and he becomes a midday jock.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it took me to do midday?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and
But
yes, and yes.
I marvel at the things that you've experienced. I think they shaped you to be who you are.
I guess, yeah.
You know,
You had almost very little
well,
of that at the
yeah,
time, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
You were thrown right there. You gotta
I was thrown in the fish pond.
imagine your first tender is one to build a power station in South
Yeah,
Africa.
yeah,
And that was your first project.
yeah.
And how did you do in your opinion? How was the immediate reaction by the bosses? Because they are the first people to react.
I
In
didn't
this
get
case,
any negativity really.
Yeah.
It was like you're fitting like a glove. Like,
Yeah.
I guess the training also did help to get rid of the
The
nerves.
nerves, yeah.
So I guess I was ready.
That's
I
it.
guess I was ready.
So
Because
time spent with
the thing again, mentally, this is what I wanted to do. When it started happening, it's just like, all right, let me show them a thing or two. I can do this. I've always known that you put the microphone in front of my mouth, I'm gonna show you a thing or two.
Jeez.
You know?
Did you ever
So-
call Linda? Remember, you have a
yes,
pact. You have an
interesting.
agreement.
When I first did the gig at Metro FM,
Yeah.
I got a call from Ulinda,
Yes.
and he was already in Joburg asking for a gig as well. Sad though, maybe beautiful, I don't know. But the funny thing, he spoke about it. I heard that he said, but he keeps talking about it. That he called me and he says I gave him $200. He didn't have money for.
Oh.
I think he took the cab at the time
Okay.
to go
Yes.
back to KZN, and then he knew, hey, Vusi, Hey, it's Linda. Hey, yeah, what's up? No, man, hey, I'm here. Hey, I don't have money to go home. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah. So we've always had that relationship with
That's
Linda.
incredible, eh?
Yeah.
Because, geez, man, everybody knows Linda Spear became
Mm.
the biggest thing in radio at some
Yeah.
point, eh?
Yeah.
I'm interested to know, where does the interest for radio come from with you?
I have no idea. I guess mm, if I were maybe to go back, I'm trying to
Mm,
trace where it comes from. My dad has been an influence in terms of music.
mm,
He loved jazz. He was this big jazz person. He loved jazz and he
mhm.
collected a lot of jazz. So there was a lot of music at
Yeah,
home. And I still want to believe that there's still some records that he
yeah.
has because, yeah, I mean, he loved music.
Mm.
And I remember when I was growing up, I would sit there with him and then he would ask me to keep play this, play that, play this. So I got to know this jazz craze through my
Mm,
dad. And then I guess I took the love of music from him.
yeah.
Yeah, so to speak.
But the love of speaking
Or
around the
speaking
music.
around the music.
Yeah.
It's yeah. And then I hear from one of the girls that we went to school with. We lived in the same township called Pimfield.
Yeah.
And she says, "You've always wanted to do this." Like I don't quite remember, but
Yeah.
she remembers this moment. She says, "You don't remember this now when you used to go around Soweto and you'd be sitting in the car and then the radio was playing and then it says, no, take it down, take it down." And then I would back announce the song in the car before the
Wow.
guy back announces
Before
it.
the jock did
So
it.
so clearly I loved it then. I guess
Yeah.
maybe I was inspired by some guys on the radio. And I
Yeah.
said, I want to do this too.
Which stations do you seem to remember at the time? Because it must have been pre-Metro even.
Yeah, yeah. It was my growing up. I mean, I was only exposed to today. It's called Cause FM.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one person that used to be on that radio that I guess a lot of people that I know
Mm.
were, inspired by that guy.
Yeah.
They loved him, and I think when I believe that most people in the industry also look up to him as being like the legend. Like
Yes.
it was the
I
best
can
guy.
guess.
You that guy,
It's that
and
guy.
I'm sure
Who Kansas.
who else?
Of course.
Who else? You know.
Interesting.
So
Wilson spoke of Kansas City
yeah,
as well.
no, he was something else. Talk about Kansas.
Mm.
Very interesting story as well around Kansas.
Okay.
And here I was doing an outside broadcast. It wasn't an outside broadcast
Mm.
as such. No, it wasn't because I was at the SAPC in Durban.
Oh, in KZN.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think I was doing the 12 to 3 at Metro FM,
Mm.
one of the studios
Yeah.
there. And then there's Ukos FM
Right there.
right there.
Mm. By reception
So
area.
when I finished 12 to 3, I go past the
Mm.
window and then he was there. And then he says,
Yay.
"You come in here." Like,
Yeah.
oh, my goodness. No, me, Kansas, no.
Wow.
It's like, no. So I went in there and he says to me, "Yeah, sit there. Let me talk to you." Like, oh no, come on.
Emsakazweni.
Me talk to you. I mean, who am I? Like,
Jeez. And you
oh,
were the musical doctor.
I mean, nobody could.
That's why it is.
I was like, oh my goodness, this guy, me, Kansas City, wants to talk to me.
And he put you on air.
He puts me on air when we spoke, and only that. I wish I could get the recording.
Wow,
on
you shared a
stage.
studio with Kansas. Where were you born?
I was born here in Joburg in Soweto,
Okay.
Baragwanath Hospital, like
Mhm.
everybody else.
Mm.
And then, my upbringing as a child wasn't that exciting. Between my mom and my dad, we ended up staying with my grandmothers in Duduza Township, Good Night Jail.
Okay.
And so even then, it was too much. It would be too much. I guess I want to believe that it would be too much of a burden
Mm.
for the old lady to be taking care of, because it was me and my sister.
Yeah.
As we were growing up, like, okay, what are we gonna do with these kids?
So they shipped you off to Nigeria.
To Nigeria. Well, that's
Yeah.
where we grew up with my grandmothers,
Mm.
and then we were then sent to boarding school.
Ooh.
So I studied at Inkamana High School.
Where is that?
It's in Fryhead.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Is it good memories?
The thing is, I'm tempted to speak about the school itself.
Please.
It's not a small time school.
Okay.
It's got a history this big and names this big.
So there are people who would watch this and say they remember that school well.
Oh yes, there's a lot of people that actually went to that school. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people, and I can name just a few that come to hand. I know that we were at school with because Bangosutu Butelezi Sam.
Okay.
He went to that school. Zandile Mbeki.
Okay.
Zandile,
Yes.
that's the name.
Is that the former first lady? The former first lady.
That's what
Yes. Yes.
the former first lady.
Wow.
Yes, she went to that school. The very guy who was a chairman of Ikagas FM, Peter Paul Ngwenya, went to the school, and there's a lot of people.
It sounds like it was a prestigious school.
Oh, of course it was.
How did you end up
we
there?
were number one in matric. For this year, we are celebrating 100 years, and we've never moved from being number one in the country.
For 100 years.
No, I can't touch the school.
Not even Manchester can do that with the 7-0 defeat. They can't even achieve that.
How did I end up as a school?
Yes.
Our parents did go to the school. I guess they knew that was the best school for them.
Yeah. Because prestigious schools are not cheap schools.
Well, the nicest thing about that school, I don't think it was one of those schools like St. Anne's.
All the Saint.
Although it was St. Francis College.
Okay.
Now, the actual school was set up by missionaries. It's a Catholic school.
Yeah, okay.
So hence the name Callistus.
Now it all comes
now
together.
You know
now
why
it all
they gave him that name.
Yes.
So, then he was at that school. So when the missionaries, most of them were from Germany.
Yeah.
When they came to South Africa, they set up this school.
Yeah.
It was actually Inkamana because they're white. It's Inkamana. So that's why it became Inkamana.
Yes.
So it wasn't costly. It was to make best education affordable for the previously disadvantaged individuals in the country.
At the time, it wasn't previously. It was the currently disadvantaged at the time.
At the time.
Because it was still during apartheid.
Yes.
And how did you, but still, it begs the question, Noguti, how you, and because if it was affordable, then anybody could have gone there.
Yeah.
And the wisdom to take you there was clearly the parents.
They knew.
They knew about it. Yes, it was like one of those.
You know, you don't know. Yeah,
that's
it.
Was
one of those. So I guess so. We were fortunate that our parents knew about the best school to go to at the time in the country. Yeah, with all of that.
What did you get from it, based on when you looked at your life years later and said, "Whoa, maybe it wasn't such a bad idea"? What did you get from that school that other kids who didn't go to it, who were your age, missed out on?
It has the best education ever.
Yeah.
And I mean, I run a school now. So I'm really exposed to where they come from, matric and so forth.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, at matric, here it is. Just yesterday, someone asked me, what is online? Now, this individual were doing matric
just now.
But
a few months ago.
Besides, online is this. If I have to explain online, and then I have to explain digital.
Oh.
So clearly,
the gap is wider than you think.
The question that you are saying, it's the education.
Yeah.
I think I had better education then.
Yes, and compared to Abochabu that you left the gas,
It's sad though. I think it has a lot to do with the education that we are feeding our kids in this country.
You're saying even now.
Well, not most of them, but
a lot of them. No, a lot of them.
A lot of them.
Because
Like, it's sad
if
though.
he's saying what is online,
How?
you should ask yourself about his class
Yeah.
and the school as a whole,
Yeah.
and most likely the entire area that is in
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
Ekasi,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
there's that the gap is wide.
Yeah.
And you
No.
can't say to him that not
How was he in online? How? I mean, that is today's language. That's another thing. Like, okay, maybe at my age, maybe shouldn't. I shouldn't know much about
more
data
than he should
and
know more than you.
Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, you should know more about that than me.
Yeah.
But I seem to know. But
Do you find that now, because it's a conversation I have a lot with my nephew about how the gap, and mostly how today's youth, there's something that the things that they're not interested in, and yet you as a Groot man, you would say, but you have to know that that's important. And I use that as a reference really, because online it's his language.
Yeah.
It's a shame that he doesn't know that language. Do you feel like there's a huge disconnect between today's youth, and because you deal with them every day, really, at school?
Yeah.
Today's youth and when we were raised, the things that we used to know and we continue to know, and today's, or maybe this is their time and their knowledge that even would go over our heads. What do you find about the differences between these two young people, you when you were young and today's young people?
There's a very big difference between then and now. Like you mentioned that, I think also you have to bring in the social media aspect of it. The technology is just, it's so advanced today
And so
that
accessible.
that very accessible, and it's like everything is just going to become so small.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Um, Somehow I wish I had what the youth of today have now. Then, I mean, I'll probably be the king
with that education.
with no,
Much-
with that education.
Oh.
Oh yes, you know.
So they have a gift right now.
I was telling my son there are two things. With the two things that you have with you, you have the world in the palm of your hands.
Yeah. Almost
Talk about
literally.
digital.
Almost literally.
Yeah, because you need a smartphone and a laptop. If you have those two things, I know
You take over the world.
you are here. Because I mean, it's the world. It's right there. It's in front of you.
Yeah, that's so true.
If you don't understand that,
I'm saddened by the online kid.
Yeah, no.
Because it's a huge reflection on our reality.
Yeah.
You know, I was having a chat with Just Eyes, and he was saying something that stood out. He said, the problem of electricity is a problem. Problem of crime is a problem. Problem, a lot of things we have in our country, there are problems. But if we were to pause for a few seconds and attend to electricity, you can solve it. There it is. You build a power plant, it's done. Like, there it is. Potholes, hey, do it. Do you know what I mean? There's some problems that are easy to fix. But there's one problem that should preoccupy us, and it's not. It's the education of our young people today. What do they know? How exposed are they? Are they? How do we capitalize them, as in take advantage of their talent? We don't seem to be doing that. And it says that should preoccupy us more than the things that we can actually fix. A broken car can be fixed. But a driver that doesn't know how to drive, even if he's driving the best car in the world, that you can't fix right now. It takes time. And that's why when you say there's a kid who doesn't know what online is and he just passed matric.
Then you worry. You have to worry. You're right. It's very funny that also we as parents, what you're talking about now is that this can be fixed, this and this can be fixed, but that, are we attending to it?
Yes.
I'm saying it's funny because we as parents also endorse in a way that thinking or that situation as it is. And also at the same time, we speak about education is the key.
What do we do in
Are we
practice?
practicing it?
Yeah.
No, we're not.
What do we do in practice?
You know that education is the key.
Jeez. There's some young people who'd
And the
argue
question
against that.
is the key to what?
That's it.
If you had the knowledge how to fix this car, you would fix it.
Sure.
So education is a key, not just one door. There are a lot of other doors.
They'll tell you, yeah, then I'm educated, but I'm so much against it.
Yeah.
Do you see how?
Yeah.
But you're saying an educated system, educated generation,
you will find ways around
creates
it.
their own jobs.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's another language that we are not really speaking. For me, I must be honest with you. I'm always talking about when I listen to the radio. If I'm not listening to your show,
yes,
I almost spoke about the things that I don't want to listen.
You can tell us. Well, be as coded as you can. It's not like you're running for office.
No, I'm like, I want to speak about the positives.
Yeah.
The knowledge. Even though sometimes I'm like, okay, why are you listening to this? I guess maybe one way or the other, I'm actually preparing myself to have the knowledge about these things. And somehow I think I'm okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
At least I know this.
Yeah.
Business shows that speak business. The SAFM, I know that they have a business
that sponsored show. Yes.
Now I even know the times. Then from there, move on to the Kaya FM Biz.
Yes.
Kaya Biz.
Kaya Biz. Then you have the 702 one on the other side. There are many.
Then,
Yeah.
Then I end up with the Iceman. Then I go to bed. And I put the Iceman here.
He gives very pleasant radio.
Yes.
Very informed radio.
Most delicious.
It's beautiful to listen to.
Yeah.
Yes. Best school, my man.
We take things for granted. Because I also take things for granted until they throw them right in front of me. At school, this is a very interesting story.
Yeah.
It still speaks about the education.
Yeah.
That, hold on a second. You don't take this for granted. It's true. These kids are not getting the education or did not get the education that we have.
Yeah.
For me, I just speak.
You don't realize.
I don't realize. Hey, no, you're speaking above their heads. Here's a story. It's the school. And I noticed this kid. She has a book almost this small. As I speak about, how to do radio, and I go around, and then she reaches out for this book, and I thought, this kid is not even listening to me then, but she wants to be on the radio.
Okay.
So I see she's got a book in front of her.
You don't know what book this is?
I don't know what book this is. I thought maybe she was jotting down stuff.
Okay.
I'm thinking, things that kids do in class. And maybe they, but there aren't any, she does not really interact with, but she's writing stuff. I thought maybe she writes poetry, whatever it is. Like, I'm like, okay, what is this? And she turns around, she says, "It's dictionary, Tish. It's dictionary.
Yeah.
Why have you got to?
No.
Why have you got dictionary?
Oh no.
She said to me, it's because when you speak English,
it's
said to us like I have to look up.
Yeah. Yeah.
She is ready. Good age. This one.
I don't know what you just said.
He's going to speak. So
who's a dictionary? That's good.
Every time I speak, she's like, that word's me.
And by the time she figures out what that word means,
I'm gone.
Yes, you are 2 minutes ahead.
And I'm like, that's the time when I realize, I need to come back.
Slow down.
Yeah, slow down. Don't be convoluted.
Not
like that word. And then I became aware. For me, it was convoluted.
Yeah.
Do not send out convoluted messages to your listener. Like,
your audience doesn't
me,
get
I
you.
speak like that. Like,
You're not aware.
I'm not aware. Like, teacher,
Jeez.
and then I became aware. Or not everyone,
Convoluted.
not everyone understand what convoluted messages are. Like, okay, slow down. So I became aware of the start. It's actually terrible and very painful.
Again, it
the
reflects
education
on
that kids are imbibing from. Who is teaching them this English?
Where did we learn the English, I ask?
At
Where
least
did you learn?
I know where I learned.
Tell me.
I was taught by Americans and Germans.
Yeah, at school.
Maybe that's how I turn out.
Yes.
So, but then St. Mary's, who is teaching at St. Mary's?
Yeah.
And one question that I used to ask with this education is, what is life orientation?
I
What
don't
are
know
they
because
teaching
we
them?
were not taught that. My nephew's here. He can tell us. What did they teach you at life orientation? For example. Hey.
Safe sex.
Okay, there you got it. Safe sex, he says.
You see, as far as I'm concerned, I speak like that guy now.
We had guidance when I was at school.
Yeah,
But then
career guidance.
Career guidance. And it was actually called guidance. So it included, for us, it included
With
everything.
life orientation.
Yeah.
Should you be studying digital, online, bring in social media?
Everything in there.
Everything.
Because it's life orientation.
But I've realized that they've actually changed now. I don't know if that is what it is, but they're now bringing in subjects like that I applaud.
Okay.
Robotics.
Hey,
They're
check
teaching
that out.
robotics, and I think also digital. It's now coming in. Like, oh, finally, we're moving away from life orientation to robotics.
But here's something that I learned with time about life orientated stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it should be on life orientation, I don't know. And I guess I will also say I don't know if it's in education at all. Things like simple finance.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
Simplified. 2 classes. These kids are told about how to budget. Do you know what I mean?
Why isn't it there with business economics?
No, it can't possibly be because
I don't know.
there you're taught the theory of managing a company's finances. If you remember, accounting teaches you about Vusi Letsoalo Incorporated. That is buying resources, selling, making profit, and all of that. It's teaching about our income statement. Here, I'm talking about 10,000 rand salary. What do? Break it down. The importance of budget. That has nothing to do with business economics.
Savings.
Interest rate.
Trust
what is that?
Funds.
Yes. There you go.
Rate, exchange rate.
Thank you. It's things that it's my money.
General type of, but useful.
Useful. But anyway, let's move on. I'm interested also to find out that the magic of radio in your immediate surrounding at school. Was there anything like that? And why do I ask? Because radio was in your DNA, yet I don't know where it really comes from.
Yeah, as much as I also really don't know where it comes from, except the fact that I did it in a car.
Yeah.
I used to back around in a car. My father played jazz. At school. At school I know for a fact it wasn't radio.
What was it?
Music.
He
was playing music and making music. That was the thing at school. Because even at school there was what we called the Bashas concert.
Okay.
So when the new kids come to the boarding school, there used to be a concert. So we would go to a hall, and then if David would have his own sketch going on there.
Got you.
And then Vusi would be playing.
What were you playing? The piano?
Yes, there were songs that I actually composed. I played the piano. I was after school. I would go to the recreation room and I'll start practicing the song. And I know yesterday in Gcinela, but I did not know how to write it, but I had it
In your
I
head.
knew, okay, it starts here, it ends there.
Ah. So
So that was
there's a
so
musician in you somewhere there.
oh yes, I wanted to. I wanted to. I thought I would become the musician
Yeah.
because even when I finished school, one person that was closer to what I wanted to do in with music,
Listen to
even though he
that.
doesn't even know about this.
Uh,
You know, I would listen to Don Laga's music now, and that's the jazz thing now.
mm.
So I mean, what 17,
Yeah, you're
16,
still a kid.
17.
Yeah.
When I finished school, I asked my mother if she could buy me a piano.
Mm.
Our lady couldn't afford that, so
Mm-hmm.
and then the music then started dying
Hey,
like
like
that.
language, you
Yeah,
lost it.
the playing, the wanting
Yeah.
to be the muso
Hey,
died like that, and then Don Laga rose to fame.
he became a super famous artist.
I could have video competition.
But how were you exposed to Don at the time? Because he wasn't the big star that he became.
Oh, I don't know. I just knew Don.
Yeah.
I guess I had it in me. I don't know when he actually
Yeah.
rose and became a star, but
Yeah.
I knew I
Of this
wanted to be
guy.
like this guy.
Yeah.
I guess he was also. I wasn't really monitoring
Mm,
his up in the game,
mm.
but I knew about him.
Jeez.
That Don Laga is the kind of guy that I want to be like.
You never told
Yeah.
him the story.
No,
He doesn't
he
know.
doesn't know about him. No, he doesn't.
Pradon. Autiakasiakam.
Don't. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yes,
homeboy.
Autiakasiak.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
And how did you then further your studies beyond matric?
Um, yeah, I did PR with.
Yeah.
Then it was called the Technikon Veterant.
Oh, okay. Yes. Vets Tech.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
it was tech. Today it's called UJ, isn't it?
UJ,
Yeah.
yes.
So I did PR and PR communications.
Yeah.
Where there was psychology, press law,
Mm.
journalistic practice, and then yeah, that was the studying part of it, ND public relations.
Okay, of course. Yeah.
So I did that, and then I was on the radio. And then I
No,
was
but
on
you
the,
got a job at
but then
Bara.
again,
Yeah.
later on in my life, I guess maybe about 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and then I did the digital thing.
Oh.
No, now I know how to. I was studying about YouTube ads, Facebook ads, search engines,
All of that. Search engine
all the
optimization.
digital thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So then I did that with I think it was an international company,
Okay.
Elite Incorporated.
Yeah.
Elite Incorporated. So I studied that.
Even now, you still
digital.
feel the need to learn more.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm so into digital stuff
This
right now.
world.
Digital is my thing.
That's good though, because you can't let this
Yeah.
let's keep it, otherwise
No,
you'll wonder about it
no.
forever.
One thing that no, maybe I shouldn't talk about it. One thing that's really consuming me, talk about your rent and cents, is cryptocurrency.
So you play in that space. I'm afraid of it. I don't know it, and I'm fine with that.
I can tell you more about it.
It's fine.
In
We'll
fact,
do that.
it's a simple line.
Yeah.
Don't get involved with any cryptocurrency, not unless it's decentralized.
We'll talk about that. There's someone who will agree with you, and I bet you there's someone who will disagree with you, but that's fine. And the job at Bara, you get that after your.
My mother was a sister. So at Bar. So she spoke to someone who knew somebody. That's how then that's how I ended up there.
And that was a blessing.
Well, it's not like I liked it. It was a blessing because I met.
I like that. I liked it, just like I liked
it. Well, you're starting off, so you're thrown into this place, and then you meet another guy.
Yeah,
that's where I met.
That's the blessing I speak of. Yes.
I would not have known about Dr. Victor Ramatisene.
Not at all. Yeah.
So yeah.
And the tone that Dr. Ramatisene picked up, the radio tone.
Yeah. Yes.
Which you obviously possessed, even when you were answering phones.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you conscious of that tone?
I guess not. I mean, I guess it's just me.
The way you speak.
just the way I speak.
Yeah.
And also, maybe to some extent, I want to believe that because I've heard other things about how I sound. I think this was in case I spent too much time there.
Yeah,
I've stayed there.
that's home.
I think to some extent, I want to also think that my schooling has an effect to it.
To the
Because
lingo.
Here's a kid growing up. It's only taught by Germans. These are white people and by Americans.
Yeah.
So clearly there's something that I'm picking up from there that
of
makes me the way that I sound.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was a time when I was in I think I was in Devon, maybe somewhere down there. This lady asked me, "So, are you from New York?" I met this other friend of mine. I don't know if you know Zosuma. Zos is from LA.
Okay.
So we've been friends ever since he came back home. So that's another exposure of
of the language,
of the American guy,
of the tone, yes,
with the tone,
the accent.
So it's like head on. So I think it was a woman who asked me, "Are you from New York?" I said, "No, I'm from LA." I flipped.
You didn't say I'm from Pimville.
I flipped because I know how to get in there.
Yeah, no, I'm from LA. I'm not from New York. I'm from LA.
I'm from New York. I'm from LA. I even auditioned. They were looking for. I don't know what it was. I don't know whether it was a TV thingy, but they were looking for an American guy.
Okay.
Or someone who has the American accent.
Yeah.
Then I auditioned. I went for that audition.
Hey, why not?
But I didn't get it. I guess maybe at the time I had dreadlocks.
Oh yes, I forget there was a time like that.
And I was playing this is a police officer. It's one line. Have you been drinking, sir? Like, have you been drinking, sir? Like, maybe I didn't put it right. Like, I just want to take him.
Have you been drinking, sir? You had so many options. You just did the wrong one. Have you been drinking, sir?
That is not getting it. Thank you.
Next. Your days at Metro, did you make any friends almost immediately with the crew? Because we hear of a time at Metro where, and I don't know you came in during that time or not, when they were boys, on-air guys were actually buddies.
Yeah.
They were not just, I do my show and I go home, which is the experience we have now. When did you come in? During a time when guys used to make friends with colleagues?
Well, everyone was friendly there.
Yeah.
They used to have meetings and, chit-chat about this and this and that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't feel alienated.
Yeah.
So I was part of the crew, so to speak. So they were older than me.
A lot older.
They weren't really friends as such. But I respect them and they've been in the business longer than I have. But, I did kind of like fit in the mold.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that made me outstanding was the fact that my dad was a jazz fundi, call it that.
Okay.
And I didn't know at the time that Ushado and the late Bramish knew about my dad.
He was that much of a fundi.
Oh, man. And that drew me closer to Nomshado.
Yes.
And then we became close.
Yeah.
In such an extent that I even went to her house and that's the one person that
took you under her wing,
closer to than anybody else.
Yeah. That big reshuffle, and I call it big because I don't know what happened with your reshuffle.
Yeah.
Was it part of the big reshuffle when you came in? When they moved Old Treasure to evening? Or were you the only big in session, so to speak, in the squad? Do you remember who else came in or what else happened?
It was, I think it was probably the first big shuffle.
It may have been the one that brought in Lawrence as well.
It may have been the one that brought Lawrence.
Yeah.
I also want to believe Bob as well.
Jeez, yeah.
Maybe much later on or at about that time, Glenn as well.
No. Glenn is much later.
Glenn is much
later.
Then it's probably Bob.
Yes. Yeah. No, definitely, because Glenn was introduced by Bob on air. I still
It
remember
doesn't
that
make sense
day.
because Bob much later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bob came in
Yeah.
and left Glenn in
It
Radio
was
Bob.
Lawrence then.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was Lawrence on Afternoon Drive or Breakfast,
It
whichever
was a
one of the two.
breakfast show.
Yes.
Yeah. Used
Is
to
it the
enjoy
Jungle Fever or something like that?
Jungle Fever was Tim.
Tim Modise.
Tim Modise, yes, in the evenings.
What
yes.
what did you call your first show? Do you remember going through the process of thinking about the name?
Yeah. I remember what it was called.
Yeah.
It was called the Pleasure Mix.
Oh. So easy to come up with
Pleasure
names
Mix.
back then. Eh? Not harder now, I'll tell you that.
Oh.
Were you co-hosting or you were all alone?
No, I was all by myself.
Jeez.
Even though I don't know if you remember Missy Ethel.
Of course,
Hollandy.
Missy, yes. Top
She was-
executive in banking now.
Banking, yes. Missy was still at school.
Mm,
I don't know how we got to know each other on the phone.
Yeah.
But this kid sounds very nice. So there weren't any jingles at the time.
mhm,
And I figured, I think there was the main jingle,
Yeah.
but you allowed to bring in your sting there. and
Okay.
there. And there was no female.
Female voice.
Aha.
Yeah.
I thought, this one, we're going to make a difference here. We're going to bring in the female
Yeah.
to come up with stings and jingles.
You even had the wisdom
And
to
she
think of that.
wrote most of them.
Wow.
And then she was like, how do you like this? And okay, let's do it. So we recorded that. Yeah.
You even had the wisdom to think about stuff like that, because your knowledge of radio is so
It's-
limited.
I don't know, maybe I had it.
Yeah.
I still believe that you've got to sound different.
That's true.
You've got to bring in a different. I can't be like I was said it earlier on when we started talking. Can't be listening to the same thing over and over again. Give me something else. Haven't you got anything else? You know?
Is that it?
Do you realize that a lot of times that I keep talking about the best producers that I know
Mm.
in radio in this country. There are only two.
Who are those? The
It's-
radio producers. Yeah.
Radio producers.
Yeah.
It's Fat Joe. Well, although Fat Joe wasn't a producer as such.
But he was a content
yes,
creator of
yes,
radio.
Yes,
Yeah.
a content creator.
Yeah.
It's David Mashaman.
No way. Me?
Have you realized how much of your stuff has been recycled?
Yeah. Well,
When I listen to David's show, I'm like,
mm,
I don't know how much of it is real and how much of it is not real. Because that's what I know. But David,
I create stuff, man. I can't help it.
this is what I'm saying. You've got to be
Yeah.
the creator. Like when I'm listening, like, because with me,
Mm.
it's like because I know, like,
Yeah.
nah,
I told a
you know,
story
but
today.
it's a good thing that
Yeah.
there is someone like that on the radio. That's what excites me.
Yeah. Wow, man. I
You
didn't realize you
No.
you hold my production abilities that high.
Yes, I do. Because I want to believe that
Mm.
someone doesn't put up something on the radio just for the fun of it. There's a
Yeah.
reason why. There's somewhere where he wants to get to.
That's true.
Like at Vuma FM.
Uh-huh.
There was what they call time spent listening.
Yes. It's a tricky thing to
Yeah.
achieve.
For me, I will keep you on for 3 hours. If the show is 3 hours, then I'll keep you on for 3 hours.
It's not easy though. You have to acknowledge.
It's easy for me. Well,
Let's hear it.
I think with this particular concept.
Mhm. Which one is that?
Now I'm gonna share it. Should I now?
Have you done it on air?
Yes, I have.
Well, you might as well share it. It's not a secret.
There's two things that one can do.
Mm.
The one thing that I did was pick up lyrics of a particular, which I can come to think of it.
Mm.
It's something that Lawrence did some time back.
Yeah.
He would pick up certain lyrics of a song, and then he would say, if you know where
Those lyrics come from.
those lyrics come from, pick up the phone and call.
Mm.
So, and I figured, okay, then I say, somewhere between
This time.
now,
Mm.
let's say 10 past 12,
Mm.
I'm going to be playing this song.
So you're looking to hear it as an audience.
Uh-huh.
You're looking for it.
You're looking for the
Yeah.
song. What does that mean?
Mm. You're going to listen throughout.
You want to listen until that song will only be played at 5 to 3 or 10 to 3. Like, okay, it's fine. I've kept you on for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So you could do that.
Do you know which idea I came up with for that very reason? And
Yeah.
it's paying off. It's what's this? It's nice we played twice. I came up with that idea for no
Yeah.
other reason.
Yeah.
2 reasons actually. I'll admit, and I say this openly. One was sponsorship opportunity. Shops that would do a buy one get one free.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
fits in perfectly. So we're still looking for that opportunity for
Yeah.
a sponsor to say buy one get one free promotion type of thing. Here it is.
At least it does a lot of that.
Yes.
Get-
Well, remember,
yeah,
we rely on
yeah,
salespeople
yeah,
to sell
I know,
these
I know,
ideas.
yeah,
Yes, it's not
yeah,
only us.
yeah.
Now, that's one reason. Another reason is to keep you on for long because we play the song and we're saying if it's nice, we play it twice.
Yeah, so you stay on. Yeah.
You stay on.
And somewhere we vote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're voting for the songs. So
Yeah.
so you want to hear one
Whether
if your
your
song is
song-
going to make it.
Yeah.
So you
yes.
because time spent listening
Yeah.
is a science.
Yeah.
To
it
keep an
is,
audience
it is,
long.
It is.
Because people don't understand radio audiences, they go in and out based on their
Yes.
lives
Our-
and sometimes based on their own irritation of what you're doing.
That's the psychology of radio.
Yeah.
Is that you must think, you as a presenter,
Yeah.
you must think about that side.
You must think about when they
And
leave.
it's you,
Yeah.
how you said it.
Ish.
There's a lot of things that you are responsible for.
True.
You
Well,
are responsible for me switching off.
so half the time we don't know why
Yeah.
people would leave,
Yeah.
but you do your best to hold them.
Yeah. Yeah. But
And keep them going for so long, and it's never easy. But I'll tell you
not
one
an
thing.
easy thing to do. Yeah.
One thing I've learned, and maybe you can correct me, it's easier to do it when you're alone than
Yeah.
when you have other people.
Ye-
And on the show, you're co-presenting
yeah.
because you don't control what
Or
they
when
say.
you're all by yourself.
Yes.
I never wanted, I refused. I think it was at Kaka's FM. They asked me to co-present with someone. I said, I'd rather work at 3 a.m. I would not do that.
What is your reason?
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
Because this is what I want to do. If I bring you into this piece, it's a different mindset altogether. I
Yeah.
don't know how to do this with you.
Mm.
You know, I don't want to dominate the one that dominates this show.
Yeah.
We should go 50-50. Then it's no longer
Mm.
this picture that I'm trying to paint.
Ah.
It's a different picture altogether. So I don't want to paint that picture.
Yeah.
I don't know
You don't know how to paint it even.
I don't know how to paint it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we went through a time in radio where this thing of co-presenting became a thing.
Yeah.
That's why you were probably introduced with it as well. Well, here's someone to do the show with. Because we went through that time of every show had 2 people, 3 people talking.
Ish.
And it became a thing. And I remember when shows like that did not exist. And I was one of those few people who used to talk with ice in the morning.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
What's your man? And every time, some people say, you're the one that started this thing of talking too much as a
Speaking for-
producer. Exactly.
Yeah.
What did you say? What do you say to that era of co-presenting radio? And some would call it, I remember some guy saying it's a zoo radio. It's like, whatever. It's some title someone gave it. So what do you say to that type of radio? Because it became a thing. And we also got celebrity radio.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with presenting, I suppose. But you've got to be able to complement each other. Your colleague
Yeah.
sounds very disjointed.
Yes.
And you can tell.
Who's
I
that?
also want to believe that he would rather do his show all by himself, Glenn.
Yes.
And what's the name, Nanti?
Not, yeah.
I don't know. Why do they also bring in that guy, Lelo, in there?
He's in
And
the
then he has his own show as well. And I don't like that show.
He's the sports guy. He's in the
Yes, let
studio.
him do the sports. Why is he part of the show?
Because we've created this
Yes.
as a new style of radio.
Yeah.
You go to Power, you find what's his name, Tabiso Kotan. Same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking. You go to 702, you find John Pellman. Everybody's talking. You go to Metro in the afternoon with Tabo.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking. Did you get? We are all now doing the Sunday thing where everybody's doing it and everybody's doing it.
Yeah, but it's okay. you've got to complement each other.
I
Like
guess.
I know that what's her name?
Which show?
Bad
Which? Oh
Boy
yeah, Thomas.
and
Yes, and Kumba.
no. At Metro. It was at
Who was he with there? Who was Thomas with? Oh, with
Pell.
Pell Mudiadiek. Yes.
See, that was okay.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like
Uh,
Glenn and Unat.
yeah.
With I don't know whether, and the funny thing is that also you can tell that Unati looks up to Glenn, and Glenn is talking. What kind of a show is that?
I'll tell you though how it comes across for me as older sister and younger sister setup. It sounds like that to me.
Yeah,
It sounds like older brother and younger sister,
yeah,
rather. That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah,
It always has that feel to it.
yeah.
And there's a Lelo who tries to broker peace between these two siblings that are fighting. Because
Yeah.
just about every conversation of Glenn and Unati, there's no agreement.
There is no agreement. No.
And that is something that can work. Think about it. It's a style that can work if it does work. Because you're saying there has to be something about it that clicks.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I'm listening. Is it? So this is why I'm listening.
Thank you.
You should-
That's why you
Got
know
you.
so much. That's why you know so much
Got you.
about it.
No, I have to be honest. I do listen.
Yes.
Why am I listening? Am I listening because I don't know. I think it's a content.
Yeah.
I think it's a content,
Yeah.
and it's been given to me in a way that is okay.
If you have the option, you can leave.
Yeah.
But
no,
you stay. I
yeah.
know I stay. I change the radio every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But I tend to stay a lot longer with my colleagues because they're my colleagues. I listen to them.
Yeah.
And also you kind of need to know what your fellow presenters are doing on air as well. So you can make a connection to it probably tomorrow or some day later to say, hey, Glenn was saying this the other day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Radio has been a career for you for years. Do you still consider it as the only career? And I say only deliberately because careers tend to have a hierarchy. I
Mhm.
do a lot of TV, but I know radio is the main one. So
Yeah.
what is it in your case? The teacher or the radio jock?
I still want to believe that it is. I think it is radio. Even though I'm fascinated by the digital space, even though I have learned and studied a bit about it, and I'm comfortable with it, but one thing that actually comes from, I guess, it comes naturally to me.
Yeah.
I think it is radio.
It has to
I'd
be.
rather be doing something that comes naturally. It's not,
Yeah.
than having to do something that, okay, Ghana, oh yeah, this and that. Okay, I have to. I don't like to think too much about stuff.
Yeah.
So,
It's right here.
yeah, it's right there.
The growth of the Vusi Letsoalo brand, because Metro, when you joined, it was already a big brand. Not as big as it became,
Yeah.
but it was already a big brand. You were wakibela le taxi say she and it
Yeah.
was going places. Tell me about the growth of the Vusi Letsoalo brand at that station while you were there. Ungene intwana, you got famous with the brand getting famous. Tell me what type of life did you started living now that I'm working for this big brand?
It's actually very funny that for me, it has always been doing something that I like, that I love to do. Anything else that happened was part of the deal.
Okay.
So it wasn't like I'm aware of, how big this thing is becoming. So for me, it was growth that was part of it. It was just growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, oh, this thing is becoming bigger. It's bigger than life itself. So it
Yeah.
was just part of the growth.
So you got it. You were quick enough
Yeah,
to
it's like
get it.
I grew up with it. I
Yes,
suppose.
yes.
Yeah. Another thing is that there is something in the back of my mind. It has always been with me. Like I didn't get into it because I wanted to be famous.
That's true.
No, because that would have messed me up.
Yeah.
I think I got into it because I love doing it.
Yeah.
It was more of the love and the passion for it.
That's
Not
true.
because there's another reason. Then you become aware of this brand.
It's
I
growing.
never
His
really,
brand is growing.
yeah, and exactly. I never considered it in that fashion.
Yeah.
But I could see that, hey, this thing. And even now, when people tell me like you're good, and I realized this thing when I started the school, because I used to ask myself the very same question that you ask me, like. I, I mean, this kid's 1,000 years younger than me, and I would ask myself, like, okay, where do these kids?
Find out even
Where
about
do we
you.
connect these
Yes.
kids? You know?
What answer do you get in those moments?
No, my mom said I must come to your school.
Ah.
So clearly, it moves from one
Yeah.
generation to the other.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah.
mom remembers the
Yes, I
musical
know.
doctor.
And sometimes I would speak to the parents like, "Oh, no, it's you. I wanted to make sure it's you because abantu bayaganga la ngaphandle." So I know it's me, ma.
Yes.
So they feel like, no, our kid
You're
is
right.
being
Yeah.
trained by someone who knows exactly this thing. So
Jeez.
yeah, so that also this is an awareness of this brand. Like, okay.
Do you find those who get into it for the fame don't last very long?
Again, going back to school, I used to tell the kids like one thing that will keep you in the game is passion and love for it.
Yeah.
If anything else, you're going to fall on the wayside.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing about this thing called radio because it just kicks you out. The moment you want to become famous, it's gonna show you flame.
There's the youth in you.
I show you flames.
but why is that? Because
I'm plugged in.
yeah, no. I can't believe you. I'm learning this language. I'm not sure I want to though, but I'm learning it.
Plugged in. I heard it as well. I think it was so not.
Yeah.
It's there on the live read.
Yes. I spoke about it as well because the
after you
Outsurance
spoke
live
about
read
it,
had a plug.
I realized, it's there.
It's a
the live
plug.
read, It's a
It's
plug.
but I
Yeah.
also don't think they wrote it properly though.
But
yeah, because you have to know how to use it.
It's like a general line.
Yeah.
Because that line will probably work for, let's say, YFM. But
True.
for 2000,
No.
Sorry, we cannot use that line.
Let's use something else.
Yeah. I remember, I can't remember, I think it was Gaga. No. Not at this station. At this station.
At this station, we don't say
It was Patrick Bukhatsu.
Uh,
He was saying, at this station, we don't
okay.
use the word lit.
Oh, yes. Our audience is not lit.
Yeah, he says, no, Vuma FM is an older audience.
Uh-huh.
Says, no, we don't use the word lit here on this station. Please don't say lit.
Uh-huh.
Just say it was an exciting event. Great event.
It was a lot of fun. It was a great event.
Yeah.
It wasn't lit.
No, you would say that some other station, not here.
It's an understanding of your audience.
The audience, yeah.
I was asking, though, why is it that the fame thing could be the reason you don't make it? Because, hey, man, we all want to sound good on the microphone. And your ambition is, your reality is passion.
Yeah.
Mine is fame.
Yeah.
I come here with this goal of fame in mind.
Yeah.
And every day I prepare for this fame thing. You prepare for your passion issues.
Yeah.
Why is it that the one is likely to fall and the other one is likely to survive?
Truth be told is that your focus is not really about what you are doing. Your focus is the outcome of what you are doing. That's where your focus is. Really, you are doing this not out of the love and the passion of you wanting to do this. So you're not focused. That's why you probably would miss the certain ingredients that you did not put in the pie that would spark. Oh, lovely pie. So because you are focused on the outcome of this pie that you've been cooking, and you didn't realize that this pie that you've been cooking is
something is missing.
It's nice, but even if you can just put some sugar in it, that's the ingredient that you miss in the fame, because your mind is waiting for the outcome of this. The newspapers. You get excited.
It's the applause.
You get excited about stuff that really should come naturally as part of the deal.
Particularly if you're focused on the passion.
Exactly.
Because if you're focused on the passion, the outcome will work itself out.
Exactly. I mean,
Wow.
the funniest thing about it that if there is that sugar in the pie, somebody else will pick it up, and that's why you end up doing a podcast.
Yeah.
And that's why you'll end up in the newspapers. You know, that's why
People are
where you
picking up. People are picking up the
because people are
passion.
picking up
The passion.
because you put more into what you are doing than
Yeah.
anything else.
When I asked Chili, whose career you know very well,
Yeah.
about this very question of the brand growing
Mm-hmm.
and joining Metro and doing the show that you were doing,
Yeah.
12 to 3, he said, hey, no, I was famous by this time because the brand is becoming bigger than me. And it's getting to my head. I'm going to places I'm not supposed to go. I'm doing things I'm not supposed to do. You didn't have that problem.
No, I didn't. I carry the thing, or I didn't get into it to get famous. I went into it because my focus was about doing the right thing, doing what I love doing. So I was always focused on that. So I could not be swayed. And that's why I keep saying that I'm untouchable. You can't touch me because there's quite a few people who are focused.
Yeah.
I'm focused on this.
Yeah.
You can't touch me. You can try,
but you won't grab.
No.
Yeah.
That I would even say this. I keep saying this to myself. I'm the best. And after me, there'll be no other.
Hey, listen to that line.
That's my line. To prove the point.
Yeah.
You asked me about naming shows.
A show, yeah.
The touchdown is it's the beginning. And my friend will tell you, I'm sure he probably got it from
Utabu.
Utabu.
Yes, yeah.
He probably got it from there. If you were to be honest, honest about it.
You did the touchdown. Okay. Remind me, take us back to that time.
It was the pleasure mix.
Yes.
The touchdown, I think it was, I want to believe that it was a 3 to 6.
Okay.
But I'm finding it like, I cannot remember doing 3 to 6.
Yeah.
I probably did.
Yeah.
Because it's in the middle of the day. Because I don't remember working at night.
No.
So it must have been 3. Oh, yes.
Early afternoon.
It was 3 to 6.
Yeah.
I remember because there was a very popular slot when the show starts, the teens and 20s. Brought to you by Fanta.
Ooh.
So now it's why I remember the touchdown.
Yeah.
The whole story of the touchdown. It was a concept that I had in mind that the plane has now touched down.
Has landed. Yes.
So I'm touching down now. I have arrived.
Jeez.
Hence the touchdown. So I don't know where Tabo comes from.
He was in America then, man.
Yeah. And then I went to Kagas FM.
Yeah.
I worked with Malus. Malus, if you remember, when I came back to Metro FM, that's when I was introduced to Malus.
Malus is a
and
producer.
Malus is a producer.
Yeah.
He had actually even coined the name of the show, Urban Rhythms.
Okay.
And he explained to me what is urban rhythms. And he was like, he was on my wavelength. But I was, Enes was the programs manager at the time. And then I said to Enes, hey, are you sure you don't want to produce me?
Yeah.
And he said, no, he's
all right.
Yeah, his head is bigger than
his body size and his age.
Because when I spoke to him, and he would say like, those are so IFM. I'm not a kid. I'm a kid.
And he was a kid at the time.
So, but his content was like, amazing
older.
stuff. It was older content.
Yeah.
And he explained to me the urban rhythms. Like, this is an urban broadcast, and we are on an urban radio station.
True.
The rhythms is talking about because it even had a payoff line, and that's like, okay, you know that I like payoff lines, and like each and every show had payoff lines. So he had a payoff line for this particular one.
It was well thought out.
Yes. I was like, This guy is me. It's urban rhythms, movement of the city.
Wow.
You know,
So that's why you connected so easy with
that's
him.
why I connected with my. I think maybe he understood who it was that is going to be producing.
Yeah.
So when I get to Gaga's FM, this guy calls the show Urban Rhythms,
Yeah.
and I'm working with him. I'm like, how are you? Yeah, yeah. And then I also got a call from Usia. Sia was presenting a show at Urkoz FM.
Mm-hmm.
He calls me up and it says, "Hey man, can I use your ideas?"
What idea is that?
What ideas is, and it's one of my, that idea was like, oh, this is it. I know that talk about people who are recycling thing that you've done.
Yeah.
But at least he said,
At least
can I do?
acknowledged you.
Because what they do is exactly the same thing that I used to do on Metro.
Mm-hmm.
Like every Friday, I would completely switch off. I didn't even care about Mzansi.
Yeah.
My mind was about that guy who's listening to Metro FM in London, New York, Japan,
Yes.
Germany. When that time comes, my mind was not with
All these, yeah.
I didn't care about
about
every-
Uchawe Pimvi.
I didn't care. I was right there. I was right there because I knew who I was talking to.
Yeah.
So even my speech was basically there.
Right there.
So he says to me, can I call in as well people who are listening to Cause FM
in other parts of the world?
Other parts of the world. I know that you've done this. Can I please? I said, nah, it's okay. It's fine.
Tabo has done that as well on Metro.
I know that even Tabo did that as well.
Yeah.
In Pain, he tried to do it.
We were talking earlier about an idea I came up with. I forgot to complete my thought, and that got recycled.
Yeah.
Getting celebrities to do a show. I did that
yes.
when Azania was pregnant and I was producing breakfast. Leo called me to the office and asked, who do you think you'll be fine to produce while Lasagna is off for a month? And I remember thinking, no. I don't want to produce anyone. I remember that so clearly in my head. I don't want to produce anyone. I'm not interested. A day or two I can do, but not an entire month. And he said, okay, then.
Were you not producing Azania at the time?
I was producing Azania breakfast.
So why would you want to produce somebody else?
For a month, it would have been too long. A day or two, I don't mind. But a month was too long. I was that kind of producer, I must admit. I needed to be in control of what I was doing. Yeah. And I said, how about famous names that do a show on a daily basis? Different guy on a different day. Okay. And then we get people to vote for someone who'll come back.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had, man, from Tony Leon to, who did we have? Spongile Kumalo, Kabelo Mabalani, and many other people. That became a thing. And then it was recycled by many other different radio stations years later. KFM did it. And even
the
Power
funny
FM.
thing is it never really worked.
Yeah, well, they'll probably tell you a different story.
I remember the KFM was sprung in the Kumalo and Prayu.
There you go.
It's just, I know.
Well, hey, they tried. They tried. The point is, I tried it. It worked so well that there are people who even came back. There are people who got voted to come back. Particularly Tony Leon. That's why I remember him so well. People said he sounded better than we thought he would.
Yeah.
Bring him back. And he came back. It was one of the coolest radio I ever done in that month of, I don't even remember what year it was. It was just the most fun. I had to work hard because I had to sit down with these people and giving them a crash course on how to do a radio show the day after. And in the morning, they come in, nervous. I remember Basitsana Kumalo. Oh, hell. She got tips from Romeo. She came in with all those tips. It was the most fun I've ever done on radio. And you then work for Metro for a while and leave.
Yeah.
What was the reason for that departure?
I guess it was another one of those. I'm trying to remember when I left, who was running
Who was
the
running
show
the station at the
in
time? Yeah.
But I remember there was a time when Romeo was in charge. Then
Is it the
at
big
that
change?
time, that's when I left.
You left the big change, the change that brought in Chile, that brought
No,
in
no, Chile. I
Eyes.
remember not Chile, because I remember when Chile was on the radio, I was in Durban at the time.
Oh, so you had already left.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had already left.
So that means you left a little earlier then.
left earlier.
Yeah, just a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Because then there was a big change that brought in the likes of Eyes, Tibos, Chile, and many other, Nandi Pastredom and so forth, and Betha Charuma.
Oh, yeah.
So you didn't work with those people.
I worked with Betha.
But only later.
Yeah, later.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in Durban, which station did you work for?
I worked for Gagas FM.
You enjoyed it? At the time, was it called Gagasi at the time? Because there was a time.
Lying. Hold on a second.
P4.
I'm lying. Now you're right. Yes.
Yeah.
It was P4 Radio KZN.
P4 Radio KZN because there was a Cape Town version.
Yes. There was a P4 Radio Cape Town.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe
a chronology.
Maybe I should tell you what actually happened.
Yeah.
Because in Cape Town there's Hard FM.
Now so, it is. Yeah.
So P4 Radio, KZN or Cape Town, it was a Swedish owned brand radio station.
P4.
Yes, P4.
Yeah.
So according to the laws of the country, there's gotta be a PE company that's involved there. So there was a PE company, Makana Trust.
Yes.
Who later then bought off P4 Radio.
Okay.
Because actually you buy it off once you have more than 52, 53%.
Yes.
That's how they got bought off. It's a very interesting story which I would not tell. So
you know the details of the sale.
Oh, it's a beautiful story of the movement. Oh no, the story is after Makana Trust bought P4 Radio, let's say both, then it then became, because now they can't use that name.
The brand, the Swedish brand.
Yes, then they started Gagasi FM. What do we call this one now in Cape Town? Heart FM.
Yeah.
So that's how they were born. So I worked with P4 Radio, even though I left them and came back again to Gagasi FM.
Yeah.
So I worked at P4 Radio in Gagasi FM and Vuma FM.
Yes.
So I've done all the commercial radio stations in KZN.
You have. Every single one.
Well, except East Coast Radio.
Well,
I wasn't going to go for East Coast Radio.
Why not?
I just didn't like that radio station.
The sound of it.
I know. It's the sound of it. I was like, I know. This is not what I want to do. It sounded more like even Highfield Stereo sounds totally different now. It sounded like Highfield Stereo back in the day.
And now, sounding like that now.
It's sounding like that now. I know. No.
It's not your thing.
I know. It's not my thing in Krent. Yeah.
And now you tasted Durban and you never wanted to come back. Because Durban has been home for you for...
Now I do.
Listen to that.
No, now I do. That's why I'm here.
Yes.
That's why I agreed to be here.
Yeah.
Also to talk to you about it. How do I come back? Because now, I have been in touch with some people here, and especially at your station.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting any joy and I'm not getting any response.
But you know how it works in radio.
I don't know. When you don't respond to emails.
Yeah, but you know how it works in radio.
Yeah.
You know how it works.
No one is responding to anything. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me concentrate on this baby that I have.
The school,
Let me see if I can get it up and going.
And get the Joburg version of it. How is that effort?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Also as well.
The Joburg
That's why I've
version
been
of the
going
school.
to Soweto now and again.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to see if I can set up base
Yeah.
there. There are people here that I know that want to be part of it. and I can work with them as well.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, so I'm entertaining those thoughts.
Isn't it harder now to convince a kid to take up radio as a potential career? Because the jobs are not plentiful in our space. It's not like you're going
Oh
to be an
no,
accountant.
no. Remember now, we are online. Remember
Mm.
now, we are talking digital.
Yeah.
Remember now, we are talking about podcasts. Remember now, we are talking about online radio stations.
That's true.
So your what they call it,
Terrestrial platforms like ours.
It's
They're old
it's
school.
it's I was gonna say it's the past. The future
They're
is
old
here,
school,
so you've
yes.
gotta start embracing the future. So there is room for that,
And you can create your own radio station.
and you can create your own radio
Yeah.
station. And it takes seconds to
Do,
do
do you know? I don't know if it's still the same, and I could be quoting an old quote that 5FM is bigger digitally than they are terrestrially.
Are there?
They attract a far bigger audience online, and they do on FM. I don't know if it's still the same because I know it was the same
At some
before
point in time, that's
COVID.
what you picked up.
Yes, it was the same before COVID,
Yeah.
where they're bigger, their number, but it also is because of the audience they speak to. It's a younger
That's
audience
the thing, yeah.
who don't
Yeah.
use a traditional
Yeah,
radio
yeah,
station to
yeah,
tune in.
yeah.
They use
Yeah.
digital stuff. They use
Like-
their phone.
Like, I've got probably about, I think, I don't know, maybe over 10 million radio stations here.
That you listen to, yet you have access to.
When I get really fed up with
You leave the
this,
country on radio.
I just go, let me go away. And then I turn the world. You should actually have
I
that
know
thing.
that app where you go anywhere in the world.
Yes, you know what? I do listen to what stuff that I listen to.
Yeah.
But when it gets, you know what? Amare.
I'm leaving. I'm going overseas.
Yes.
That's the beauty
So-
of digital,
Yeah.
I guess. Eh?
You see, so there is room for digital. Yeah.
Probably now, obviously now more than ever, for these kids
Yeah.
to get careers.
And the funniest thing about it, and one person that, in fact, everyone keeps talking to me about
Mm.
this one thing. And I'm like, oh, it
What
seems
is
I have
that?
to go that way. I don't know. Maybe I just don't get it. Maybe you know better than I do.
What
because
is that? If I know, I'll tell you.
This thing called podcasts.
Yeah.
It's the thing now. And I'm like, okay.
It's the buzzword. However, I don't even, you almost never hear me use the word podcast on this platform. You almost never hear me say it.
Yeah.
For me, yeah, the inspiration is way before this. It's first with the interest in people's stories.
Yeah.
We happen to have called them podcasts.
Yeah.
And the obsession with Joe Rogan's shows, where he sits like this and have a long conversation with someone about whatever it is that interests that person.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's science. Sometimes it's extraterrestrial beings.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's alcohol and so forth. And I'm getting there, with
Yeah.
this. Because to grow it requires effort. It requires a lot of time.
Yeah.
And you would know, and everybody else watching would know this, that to build an audience, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, it's the same here.
Yeah.
You have to have content.
Yeah.
And that content has to be appealing, compelling. People want to watch it
Yeah.
and want to watch long. So would I tell you to start a podcast? Yes, you should start one. Why? We need a movement to keep going.
Yeah.
We need the world of podcasting to become a thing.
Yeah.
It's such a big thing that you'll have 100 options, the same way you have with your radio stations.
Yeah.
The same way an average person, particularly who lives in Joburg or who has DSTV, will have access to all the channels on radio in the country. For me, the movement must go on.
Yeah.
McG asked me once, hey, this thing is drawing too much attention. I'm not sure if I should keep going.
Yeah.
I said, dude, we need you to keep going.
Yeah.
Because if you stop, the movement stops.
Yeah. The whole thing stops.
Eh,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because he leads the pack and we're
Yeah.
happy for him to
Yeah.
lead the pack.
Yeah.
I look forward to a time when there'll be 100 of us.
Yeah.
There'll be 200 of us.
Yeah.
Should you start? Tomorrow, please. Make the content
So,
different, make the content fresh, make the content unexpected and do it, because this platform is a podcast now. Watch literally in the next 2 weeks, you're going to watch other shows that are not podcasts,
Yeah.
but that exist on this platform.
And then you'll be like, oh, I should have.
And do you want a camera in front of you? Maybe not.
That's another thing.
Maybe not. It should just be audio.
Yeah.
That's also an option.
I guess maybe it was it's a thing behind the microphone again. That's my thing. It's like, oh no, I'm very done with
Do you
this.
dread it?
You know?
Being behind the mic?
No. It's I guess maybe I've done it for a bit for too long.
Okay.
Do you want to continue? If that is what it is, then put the microphone in front of you and do
Because it comes naturally.
Because it comes naturally.
Yes.
You know? The one thing that would also speak to me is that you've had the saying, do what you love so you never have to work
That's
a
it.
day in your life.
Yeah.
I so believe in that.
That means the teaching is also something that you enjoy.
Maybe, because I've done it for such a long time. I was asking myself, like, I kind of like grew into it.
Yeah.
And I became like, hey, I could do this. I could do this.
Yeah. Did you ever have that chat with Chili to say, I told you that this will happen?
Funny enough that he's the one that always talks to me about, he would be the one that always talks to me about, you. And he would tell other people like, no, this is my mentor.
This is the guy.
He's the guy. That's why I'm here, because of him. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was happy to know what. No. Nah, my boy he's done it.
And he did it. He did it all the way.
I know he did it.
He did some of the most creative radio that you've ever had on South African radio was done by Chile.
The creativity was another thing.
Yeah.
Like, wow. It was a cherry on top.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there a station that you look back at and say you enjoyed working for? Because my story with radio is so simple. It's Metro and Radio 2000. That's it.
Well, Metro is, and Kakas FM. For me, why Kakas FM? Because it feels like there was a break. Because there was a break. Leaving Metro FM. And then there was Gaga. I know there was People Radio. And People Radio felt like a bridge.
Okay.
It didn't, maybe because also the audience was a very small audience.
At the time, with people. Yeah.
So it didn't really feel like you out there, even though it had an audience.
And a very loyal audience.
And it was a different audience again. But for me, it was Metro FM and then Gaga's FM.
Yeah.
Because Gaga's FM was now exposed to a different market altogether.
Completely. Very youthful in its feel.
And it's a different language.
Oh.
And a different culture.
Oh. It was a lot more than just
and
the age
you
group.
Haven't been on the radio for, I think, it was a long time. It felt like a long time.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like the revival. I'm back. Even I remember this with one guy says, no, why don't you now say, bring back the musical doctor?
Yeah.
It wasn't going to make sense because it was a different audience altogether. So the musical doctor was there.
Yeah.
And here, it's just me. So it Vusi Letsoalo.
Yeah.
But the excitement was, I'm back. So that's why for me, Gaga's FM was more like, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm back. It's good to be back. And I remember when a day or a week before, I was doing the weekend shows. So I would be there during the week just to familiarize myself with the desk.
Yeah.
I think maybe I was there for a day or two. And then there's this girl who called me. I forgot her name. She's now manager of the station.
Okay.
At the time, she was in the marketing department. She called me on air. She says, are you all by yourself there? I said, yeah, I'm all by myself. Like, you sure you're all by yourself? Like, yeah, I am not.
Why was she asking that question?
Because she thought I would need someone to help me with the desk,
Oh, okay. Yes.
Like, no, it's like,
It's
let's do it again. Yeah,
exactly.
it come. I just
It's
was
muscle
there.
memory.
I was only there just to say, oh, okay, Mike, okay, okay,
Muscle memory.
I don't need.
Yeah. I've driven this car before.
I've driven this car before. I don't need to know where the clutch is.
Yes.
So, here we go again.
Yeah.
Let's start the engine. Let's run.
Yeah.
So it was like then.
Jeez.
So for me, it was Metro FM and Gagas FM.
Yeah, it is.
Funny enough, I should actually mention my last station, but no, I
What
don't.
is that? Vuma?
Vuma FM, no. It does.
What's that? No.
It does not really fall into the category
Of
because there are things that I did. I don't think that the audience understood where I was coming from.
Yes.
I want to believe that maybe I was at the wrong station because I feel like it was a wasted effort of creativity lost.
Yes.
So if I could have done this for people that would understand what I'm doing, then it would probably be added onto the station that stand out as highlights.
Is it tricky though to change an audience? Because I've done very little of it.
I mean, I don't. It's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Really. We said it before that you've got to know your audience.
That's it.
So for me, the KZN audience, it wasn't rocket science for me. So I knew who I was talking to, and I knew what they were all about, and I know the culture of the area, and like I know KZN. It's like this. This is what they're thinking. This is what makes them move. So it was easy for me to fit in and then present to them. But I think it's important also. It is important that you need to know your audience.
And that's why I say advantage also with a move from Metro to a Durban-based station is that you always have that familiarity with the Durban audience as a Metro presenter. There's a familiarity that you get almost instantly because Metro is a big brand in KZN and in Durban in particular.
In Durban in particular.
Yes. So it's not a complete change.
Why I'm mentioning Gagas FM, one thing that I also liked about it is that it also added something to me.
Yeah.
I ended up having to do a program in Zulu, more of a talk
what
in the language.
No way.
That was a interesting challenge. Like, okay.
And you managed, obviously.
Well, I had to.
Yeah.
I had to go to Mbuza ngesiZulu ukuthi but now I need to.
Oh no, that would be tough.
It's a challenge. It was tough.
Oh.
I remember Chiliam when he worked at Duko's FM, and he said to me, this thing is so difficult. It's so difficult. You Chiliam, you at Duko's FM. No, I have to speak to them in Zulu.
Yes.
First of all, and you need to, you would think first in English.
Imagine that. An entire black man.
And decode it
into Zulu.
It's not an easy. And now.
And be sharp.
Because you don't sit back and think. You might sit back and think about the link.
But
when it comes on, it's on now.
And also you're working alongside people who speak it so naturally all the time. So for you sound behind. You sound a few seconds behind. You sound like a feedback. You're a second or two behind.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe you pulled that off.
And you try to maintain their personality
in the middle of all of that.
Yeah. Even if you're speaking English, but I'm not losing myself.
Yeah, no, you can't.
It's a different language. Oh, it's
so much. How long did you do that for? And what did they say about your performance?
Well, I was fortunate enough because it wasn't an everyday thing.
Okay.
Like on set, I knew gore, eish,
Today
on
is not
Wednesday,
today.
and usually the same people, although they were to change. Now it was a Tukuni municipality,
Okay.
so they bring in
Some
because they know who they're
spokesperson.
talking to.
Yes.
The audience person they're talking to is speaking Zulu.
Yes.
I remember when I did the show first time, like and we speak English to this guy, and then well, obviously they don't come to me, and then they go to the office like, hey, no, umkhandlu weTheku ngacela ukuthi mhlambe mangabe ubuza imibuzo uyibuze ngesizulu.
Yes.
Hey, and I knew ukuthi that's how it is.
Oh no.
And because they tell you that the audience they are talking to wants it in Zulu.
Yes.
So which then tells you every time.
And because of my Pretoria upbringing,
Yeah.
you don't master the language perfectly.
Yeah.
Whether Kisipedi or Setswana, you just don't get it right. Because hell, you grew up in a place where so many languages are spoken. I could never do Motsweding. I could never do Tobela. Never, not in my wildest dreams.
I guess funny enough that you said that.
Yeah.
KZN for me, like, it's fine. But I don't see myself at the Cause FM.
Okay.
My thing is that it's got to be proper.
True.
Even if it's not. For other people, like, and you listen to them, like, they are Zulus, they speak Zulu. But, and you know that you can do this as well. But yes, you can. Can you do it in this language?
And properly.
And not lose yourself?
Ooh.
The answer is no, not really.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Eh?
So yeah, so that's what stops me from wanting to try and because I think I'll probably I'll mess it up. It won't be what it's supposed to be.
To be exact, and see the thing about it is the audience of those stations in particular, the expectations are very high.
Yeah, I know, especially because FM. I know that there was a DJ Spoon at some point in time.
Yes, of course, yeah.
He
in the
was
morning,
told by the king, I take this guy out.
Yeah,
because he was massacring
the language.
The language. So there are stations where you've got to do it right,
or not, or don't do it at all.
Don't do it at all.
Yeah.
So of course, FM is one of those. Like sometimes I feel, I wish I could, but I know I would not do justice. Even if someone says, "Come on," I know there would be just
try it. What still preoccupies you about your ambitions of radio or broadcasting as a whole right now? Because we have to acknowledge for a second as we go back to the fact that you also did TV at some point. Listen to you laughing it off.
I just never liked TV.
Yeah.
I don't think I like TV. I hate television, even the television set itself. I might have a TV in the house. I used to have a TV, which I never watched. For me, it was just an ornament.
Okay.
And for those
decoration.
I know, I think it's a content that comes through on television. And until I discovered this other thing called Netflix.
Yes. Other options.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's more. You can't dictate to me what I need to be watching.
At what time.
Yeah. And even the content that you give me, it's not up to the standard that I would watch.
Yeah.
I'd rather not watch. I even took the DSTV, the whole thingy. I gave it to my sister. I said, "Hey, now please take this thing. I don't want it. I don't want anything."
Yeah.
I was left with a television set. And then I realized the young ones, when they come to visit Papa,
they want...
And it was perfect timing because I started thinking about those things at the right time.
So you say TV is not something that appeals to you at all?
No, television, nah.
Even the doing of it, because the Panasonic show that you did years ago was...
You want me to be on television? Definitely. I know. Now I would tell you, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But then it was a job, I guess. You couldn't say no.
Yes, then it was part of the package. Yes, it was part of the package.
Yeah.
It was with the Panasonic Sonic Boom.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
So it was because Panasonic was sponsoring
the radio,
the Hot Mix show.
Yeah.
And they felt, let's use this guy Vele already. he's part of the Panasonic mix.
Yeah.
So that's even on the newspaper ads. There was a musical doctor there, so I became part of it.
Jeez,
You know,
man.
even the Panasonic Sonic Boob with we did it with Nomshad,
Mm.
but ish, oh, the television is so traumatizing. Like you need to watch. Can't be on wearing
No, yes,
white.
yes, you have to make up.
I mean, it's just I want to go in there and do my thing. Just keep it in.
What a world, eh? And that you
I
had to
know.
adjust to.
And there are people that actually do enjoy it. Radio is free as long as you make sure your microphone is picking up your sound, and it's
Yeah,
all
you
good.
could. I still do this like I'm doing a radio show.
Yeah.
That's why I need headphones. And because with these headphones, obviously I can hear your voice. You're not wearing headphones.
Yeah, no,
right?
I'm not.
I can hear the audio very well,
Yeah, okay.
and it gives me the radio feel.
Yeah.
And 99% of the time, I forget the cameras, and I like that about it. Completely forget the cameras. They're here. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
But I completely forget them because podcast in its traditional format is audio based format.
It's audio,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
But we've created these cameras and it became something else. Hey, it works if it works and it doesn't
Yeah.
if it doesn't. I asked you earlier, what still preoccupies you about your radio career? Do you still feel the bug to do it at all?
I mean, give it the opportunity to do it
Tomorrow you would.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
The thing is, I still have a lot.
Mm.
Funny enough, at some point, I think about 10 years ago, I said I've got a lot. I still have a lot.
You still have a lot. 10 years later, you still have a lot.
No, I want to believe that it's still a lot. That, like I'm saying, there's a lot of things that you can do. It irritates me when I listen to radio and I hear people doing the same thing. And
Everywhere.
things that have been done before.
Yeah.
Which means it's enough. Bring people who can
do new things,
come up with new things and make radio exciting.
Yeah. I've started a new thing on our show.
Yeah.
We do.
That's what I'm talking about.
We do calls with listeners that I do between 1 and 2. It's a new thing.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. It's actually so refreshing. I remember when we spoke about it, my producer said we should try it. I don't want people to see me. That's the reason I do radio. I don't want people to see me.
Is this linked to the stations? Does the station even have a television?
No, we're good. We have a tablet on the show that we use, that all the shows use, and that's what we use to connect with the audience. Because remember, they send voice notes already.
Yeah.
So we have their numbers, and we said, this one, let's just return the call as a voice call.
Yeah.
And put them on air.
Yeah.
I'm kind of liking it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's nice to have somebody who's gonna come through with something new, fresh, exciting, some creativity. People that have no creativity at all. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing that irritates me like that was an anti-paker, and before that we played you. Next thing you hear that, like, oh my goodness, what what a waste of airtime.
But Vusi, that's called a radio link.
No.
I told you the time, I told you the station, I told you the song, I told you which song is coming. What more do you want from me? There are careers that were built with that only.
This is the radio that I'm talking about.
Yes.
This is where we should be going. And I keep saying to the kids at the school, if I become a programs manager, clearly I'll fire everyone on the radio station.
Yes.
If you don't give it. We will start off by taking away 2 things, depending on what time of the day you are on the radio. Yes. If you're in the morning, I will not take out the time.
The time check. Interesting. Somebody asked me about that, but carry on. Somebody asked me, why do I do time check? I said, I'm lunchtime. I don't want you to be late to go to work. But anyway, let's see your
You've got to find a way of saying it.
Yes.
If you have to say it.
Yeah.
Find another way. Funny enough that this I got from Chile. He says, if you have to be at a meeting at 1 o'clock, you've got 30 minutes.
You got 30 minutes left, yes.
You see, find another way of
telling the time.
Telling the time.
Yeah.
And I also like this part of the script that the live read that you have about outsurance.
Outsurance, yes.
And then somewhere along the line, this is the good news.
Yes,
And
it
then
speaks of that. Yes.
you see, that's the thing.
Uh-huh.
Tell the time in that fashion, and then go into news. Or you can't keep doing the same thing. That
was done by so and so years ago, and that was and this is.
Take away the time,
Yeah.
and don't tell me what the station is. If you have, let the jingles do that.
But
There
you'll
was
hear program manager saying, "I need you to ID the station."
There's things that there's ways of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You should know about the
No.
Mexican in the bicycle.
Of course, yes. You're an old school radio guy. You're speaking about the Mexican in the bicycle.
You can start off by putting on the radio station, the artist, yourself, and maybe the time.
Yes.
And let's say these are the 4 things.
Then you can reverse them or say them.
If you're going to do that in the next link, in
same
the same
way.
fashion, I know, I switch off. You got to find a way of saying
of swinging them around. There's the bicycle changing. Yes.
No, but on the radio, no.
Do you know what I like about this episode? We're getting Radio 101. Now people know about the Mexican on the bicycle. And those who will watch it and say, I know what that is. We were told about that. It's very, very your link. It's a station ID, song, time check if you have to do it, maybe a throw forward.
Yes.
And then you come back, you can do station ID, throw forward, song, and leave it at that for that matter, because you can also do that. Yes.
Yeah.
You come back later, you mix them up. Always try to see if you can mix them up. And those are tricks that I learned long ago when I was still a producer.
And you've got to find a way to keep your listeners on. When I return, or when I come back,
that's it.
Which became my makeup. Like, do you notice that you say this all the time? It works. When I return, I'm going to be playing you a brand new song which has never been released.
Yeah.
If you're on a music station. But today, which is on your station, this is what they do. Because if you say, okay, what's on the show today? This is what we do. At this time, there's a time we're going to do this. This time we're going to do this. This time we're going to do this. And then we say goodbye here. At that point in time, you have given me everything that you're going to do on the show. I can then decide. At 3:05, you've told me everything that you're going to do. You've given the things like the main ingredients of your mix.
I remember Anthony Duke saying you shot all your bullets.
Yeah.
There's nothing else left in the
I don't know. I mean, your colleagues, I don't know why Glenn is allowing for that to happen. I mean, he should know better.
Yes. Well, I don't think it works, I guess, because they have an audience and a loyal audience.
PM there, I'm going to switch over.
You're one of them.
one of these good days, I'm going to switch over. I'm going to find something else. I already do have.
Yes.
I'm just giving you a chance. Otherwise, I'm going to go to Hot Mix 101.
Yeah, in America somewhere.
Yeah,
I look forward to you being back on radio. I think the South Africans will probably agree with me that we miss hearing you. I haven't had a Vusi Letsoalo link in a long, long time. And it's partly my fault because, well, I guess it is to some extent. And I kind of listen to you on DSTV, but I haven't had a Vusi Letsoalo musical Dr. link in a long time. Every time we've spoken, we speak at this tempo.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a faster Vusi Letsoalo tempo that I haven't had in a long, long time.
Yeah.
So we look forward to hearing it soon.
Well, one of the things that Patrick was
Bogas.
yes, Patrick Bogas was a programs manager, and he says to me, "You see, it's that thing of changing radio stations. I think it also changed me, and I also want to believe it's probably my growing up as well, and the content that I've got to be exposed to. It's no longer that fast.
It's no longer that fast. Yeah. So you've slowed down.
No, it's no longer
but you
that
know
fast.
It was fast.
Yeah, when I listen to my old tapes, like, oh my God, this guy is smoking.
I like that.
But if because I said it, So which means I can teach myself to go back there.
That's
I
true.
can.
Yeah, because that was
Yeah.
you. You
Yeah.
know, you can
Yeah.
always go back there.
Mhm.
If you played a trumpet before, surely you can play it again.
I can play it again.
Yeah.
I've driven a car, I can drive it again.
That's it. However many years ago.
Yeah,
You can just
yeah,
come on, give me a
yeah.
minute.
Yeah.
Oh man, I look forward to hearing
So
it.
I can give you the samples. You can listen to it. During the COVID,
Mm,
I don't want to be in the studio.
okay. Yeah.
I think for about I don't know, for the longest time. Maybe I think there's a reason why I didn't want to keep being there, because I ended up doing radio at home
Oh, with the phone.
because I could do it.
I guess.
So I don't think they liked it
Who are you working for then? Vuma.
at Vuma FM.
Yeah.
I don't think they liked it. No. I think I was getting maybe a bit slightly big-headed, but it was the truth.
Yeah, that I
Because
can do.
kept on even telling the guy who was a programs manager there that there are things that can happen. Like, no one should be in the studio or can be in the studio.
That's true. Yes.
You know, I don't know if you know about the Zeta.
Yeah.
Zeta. It's the same thing that you're looking at. You can look at it here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just tell me at 12:03.
You're about to go.
Just you do an OP.
Pretty much.
It's here.
We have that technology.
Zeta
here.
to go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on your.
It's similar to this. We have this technology on your phone.
Or you can have it on your phone or on the tablet.
No, we have in this office, because 2021, I contracted COVID in December. I did the show in this very studio for an entire month. In this very studio. And I remember how there was so much we had to improve to get it right. Because I said I wanted to sound exactly like I'm in the studio in Job at Auckland Park. And we got it right. It took some effort, but we got it right. You know, there's enough technology now that allows you to do that without even blinking. And even now, SABC uses clean feed, which is great. You know, audio quality is awesome. But it's how you're sending that audio to them. Pravus, in my world, you're one of those guys. I'm glad you came. I haven't spoken to a radio guy in so long. This is so cool. I'm glad you came. I wish you a lot of radio. We belong in a group of people who I know for a fact I look up to when it comes to radio. And I'm glad that you still have the fire inside of you. You're the perfect program manager because you've played the game. You're like Pizzo Musiman. You've played the game and you know it so well. And a part of you would play it if given the chance. That's the beauty about radio. It doesn't die with your legs the older you get. It stays with you. That's why Bob Ramish did it for so long. Shakwani did it for so long. Because it stays with you.
I think you had him here
he was
as well.
He was my first guest ever. And I'm so happy that happened.
That clip.
Oh, I played Shibabadu. At the time of your life. The life of
it sounds so nice and like very nice.
It's a tribute. Every time I play it, I do it to acknowledge the old man because he played an important role in us falling in love with radio as a whole, you know. And a lot of people, you speak to Tiwo's Mukwele, he speaks of nobody else.
Funny enough, we were talking about Sunday radio.
He's the mastermind.
But he was there.
He is the mastermind.
And the funny thing is that, no, he did not fall into the mold.
Yes.
He was like, oh my goodness, that guy. He had things
in there.
Yeah. That's what's missing.
Oh, yeah. He had you don't know what I'm wearing. He would tell you a story about, I'm wearing this white shirt and these white pants. He would tell you all that stuff.
Take it anyway. You see, that's the thing. Something, not the usual.
Play a song, back announce it, tell me someone's birthday.
As if you know.
I know.
That's the one thing that I don't like sometimes about me, is that when I listen to the radio, I'm listening to, how are you doing it? Probably if I didn't know better, it would be okay.
Yes, but you know better. So
because you know You know too much. You can tell. It's in that one.
But it's the I think it's we can't help it because
Yeah.
it's our world.
Yeah.
I'd listen the same way. That's why I don't stay on one radio station long because
Yeah.
I truly get irritated quickly.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and as a result, I realize what irritates other people about me.
Yeah.
And then I try to teach myself literally on a daily basis that, okay, enough now.
Yeah.
Let's move.
Yeah.
Like when a subject matter carries on for too long
Yeah.
and they stayed there, another minute, another 2 minutes. And I said, no, my man, I enjoyed it. I'm
Yeah.
good now.
Yeah.
And you know what I did?
Yeah.
I left.
Yeah.
It's the great Vusi Letsoalo. We look forward to having him on radio again soon. I hope a radio station out there is listening, whether it's 2000 Power, Kaya, you name it. Here's the man. He's available. Would you work for the guys I mentioned? You haven't worked for Kaya.
No, I haven't worked for Kai.
You haven't worked for Power.
I haven't worked for Power.
There are two stations that
And
are
then I
working.
haven't
You haven't worked
worked
for
for
2000. You haven't worked for
Yeah.
SAFM.
I haven't worked for SAFM as
Yeah.
well.
And I'm sure
So-
there's one we're missing. But yeah,
Yeah.
you haven't worked for these guys.
Yeah. So now, yeah,
And you're available.
I'm available. Yes. There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Vusi Letsoalo. Thank you so much, Otiak. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
David. I appreciate it. I had a great time, I
I'm
must say.
glad. I'm glad
It
you
was,
did.
It was really nice to speak on the microphone again after such a long time. Well, it's not really a long time. For me, it feels like a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and also to have this interview with you,
Yeah.
out of all people,
Thank you, man.
because I also put you right up there.
Whoa.
You know? Like I said to you in the
Appreciate it.
beginning, that not so many people came to my school.
Yeah.
You have to be at a certain grade for you to be part of it. Because
Yes, you allowed me to teach for a minute.
teach, it does not mean teach me.
Uh-huh.
It's the ones, you know,
The young
who are,
one.
the young ones who are coming up.
Yeah.
For the fact that I chose you to give a
Mhm.
little bit of
Yeah.
input to them, it means I honed you up highly
Thank you, man.
because of you know what I've seen and what
Mm.
I've had.
First guy, the first popular, famous DJ I ever met. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. And he says I'm worth something. Come on. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Vusi.
Thank you, David.
It's Vusi Letsoalo, buddy.
King David Studio Podcast.